Hello and welcome back to another episode of Serie A Spotlight. This is episode 124 and we are hosts Matt
and Jake,
here to discuss all the happenings of Matchday 34.
Yes, we're approaching the end of the season over here. 4 games to go. We've got our champions. We've got our first newly relegated team in Serie A. Of course, we are here to bid farewell to Salernitana.
As you will notice from our beautifully crafted artwork for this episode.
Yes, which
obviously
took 15 minutes.
Obviously very sad to see Salernitana go. I think anyone who follows our podcast week in, week out knows how we both feel about Salernitana, and particularly maybe about the southern teams in Italy. We love the fan bases. It's going to be sad to watch them go, but after this season, I think Serie B is their home and they have a lot of improvements to make if they want to be back in A next season.
They've got a lot of work to do, of course. They need to see what they're going to do coaching-wise. I don't know if this is the kind of long-term solution for them, their current setup. We'll have to see who's going to leave and who's going to stay, because relegation, of course, usually in Italy tends to be something very complicated, to the point that's not the first time you see a team drop down one division and then immediately drop down another one.
Yeah,
that's always a risk. So we'll see what they do. Usually I've been quite impressed by their management. This season's the first time that I was a little bit... Not a little bit. I was totally disappointed by Salernitana's management, replacing the manager 3 times. When things started looking good on the pitch with Pippo, they sacked him because the results weren't coming when there were clear improvements. And then pretty much cementing
what
the
threw
relegation.
management off was that one game against Empoli where they got creamed, but it was that immediate Davide Nicola effect.
Absolutely.
Which, if you face a team that Nicola has been managing for 3 weeks, you might as well be up against Real Madrid, man. Because for that, for those first couple of weeks, Davide Nicola, when he joins, players act like they're in the army, you know?
Absolutely.
They put together brilliant performances.
We're recording earlier today, guys. It is Wednesday. It is Workers' Day, the 1st of May. So happy Workers' Day to all our employed friends and to our unemployed friends as well. Workers' Day, of course, only affects a small percentage of the population of workers on Earth. Caterers, people who work in hospitality, people who have football podcasts, they need to work anyway, right?
Here we are, but we get to record a bit earlier. The sun is out, we get to record while drinking some wine. We'll have our coffee, wine, water. We've got an entire setup.
It's a bit of a disaster, our table at the moment.
Yeah.
You should see underneath.
Whoa, what is there underneath our table?
Thermos, a bottle of wine, we'll see.
We'll see.
And we've got the semen kit on my right over here, perfectly in frame. If you know, you know.
Yes, so the Easter egg isn't that secret
exactly
anymore. And also, we obviously get to record this episode a bit earlier, which means we can watch the Champions League tonight. Watch Dortmund PSG, I believe it is. Yesterday was amazing between Real and Bayern. Real in the Champions League are just
another animal.
Such entertaining matches, man.
Even if the other team plays much better than Real, you can never count them out.
That's the thing, man. That's the thing about Real. They could, like, 2 seasons ago, I was just fucking, what do you call it there, beatboxing. 2 seasons ago when they won the Champions League under Ancelotti, they were the second best team in all of the matches. That season that Benzema won the Ballon d'Or. They come back against City, they come back against PSG. Thank you, Donnarumma, for that. But yeah, I think we should really jump into our goal of the week.
Yes, our goal of the week was Salamakers for his looping free kick. Did he mean it? No. Probably not. Was it the best goal of the weekend? Yes. Honorable mention?
Kristovic.
Yes.
Kristovic. And I think I'm always drawn to goals with intent, rather than the mistake. So this one was particularly close. And Kristovic as well, if it were the winner, we'll get into that later, if that were the winner, and it almost was, that might have been the goal of the week, because it would have confirmed Lecce's survival, which would have been massive.
Fair enough. Salamaker's goal of the week means that Bologna are the goal of the week for the 2nd time in a row.
They're a saucy team, man. They're very saucy.
Very entertaining to watch.
Yeah. We should do like a tally at the end, see the players and the teams with the most.
It's true.
Like, because I know Zirkzee has one against Inter as well, so that's Bologna on 3 for sure. I think Salamakers has another one.
Does Ferguson have a goal of the week? Maybe.
Probably. El Zizi.
Or Solini definitely has
Solini has one for sure.
But we'll see. The last 20 minutes of Udinese Roma were played.
Thrilling.
This was match day 32. Udinese looked very lively, and to be honest with you, Roma didn't really show up. It's like they were almost trying to grow into these 15 minutes of football, which was a very strange approach.
A weird approach with the substitutions as well. Very cool.
This was Cannavaro's debut game as manager, and then of course against the run of play, Cristante towering over everyone to score a header from a corner at the end to give Roma all 3 points. And it was ecstasy all round. Roma seemed indifferent through the way they were playing. I don't know if they were being cautious, but at the end when they scored, there was an explosion. You see De Rossi screaming, everyone losing their minds.
It was a tight fixture list. I think this game particularly meant a lot to them as well because of what happened to Evan Ndika. It's 3 points that they needed to get their hands on. Imagine that hanging over your head. We need to play those 17 minutes in Udine.
Yeah.
And they've got European football as well. They have a tight fixture list. They need to play Atalanta as well and Leverkusen. So it's a tough fixture list for them.
They've been moaning about it.
Lega's doing them
it's
zero favors,
The league
man.
should help its teams, man. It's within their best interest to help their own teams.
I have a point on that now when we cover Roma. Essentially, their Atalanta game is sandwiched. And that's a battle for fifth, man. They're 2 points apart. That game's going to mean everything to the outcome of the season. And it's completely sandwiched between 2 European fixtures with like 3 days in between only.
They're going
to get creamed, eh?
But this is something that's complained about in every league.
Yes.
Like in the Premier League, Klopp has been moaning about this for a while now as well. Atalanta have qualified for the Coppa Italia final by beating Fiorentina. This game was happening when we last recorded, so last Wednesday. So the final of the Coppa Italia will be Juve against Atalanta. They beat Fiorentina in a dramatic match where Fiorentina were actually a man down and managed to equalize, making it 2-1 on aggregate. And then towards the end of the game, Lookman scored the winner. And basically, it was called off and then went to VAR and the goal was given and then they scored again on the break. Eventually, it was 4-1. Scamacca scored a crazy goal in this game as well.
Yeah.
Very entertaining stuff.
Really, really good game. And I really respected Fiorentina for even getting that goal after the red card. It was scenes. But Atalanta, with the squad depth that they have and just the way they exhausted Fiorentina. Because Atalanta switching play and just, what's the term I'm looking for? When you they stretched the defense so much with their wing play from wing to wing. And at the end, Fiorentina were just exhausted. And once that second goal went in for Atalanta, the rest was just free-flowing. Obviously, Pasalic always has to put the cherry on top of the cake, eh?
Absolutely, always. He loves these moments. He always steals the show, Pasalic.
Because he sneaks in. He always sneaks in.
Be it if he's introduced late, like through a substitution in the 83rd minute, and then he comes in, gets a goal that doesn't really matter, but it gives him all the right in the world to just celebrate.
It's been a while since we've seen a Pasalic hat-trick. I used to really enjoy those.
They usually came like once a season. Every single season there was a Cornelius hat-trick and a Pasalic hat-trick every single year. But that takes us to the European fixtures, bro. I think you have them available.
So today is Wednesday. So tomorrow, Thursday, we'll be seeing Marseille versus Atalanta in one of the semi-finals for the Europa League. The other semi-finals happening on the same day between Roma and Leverkusen. These are 2 very, very tough fixtures for our beloved Italian teams. We all know what Leverkusen are like. They're absolutely unstoppable this season in Germany. Thankfully, Roma are home over there, so maybe they could cause some damage. Marseille away from home for Atalanta. Now, Marseille are very hit or miss. They could kill you or you can kill them. But in Marseille, they have some of the wildest supporters I have ever seen. Oh, it's massive.
Atalanta just need to try to come out at least with a draw. It's not a priority to win that one. Win it in Bergamo, just don't lose.
Exactly.
Because that's going to be a and mentally
Exactly.
daunting thing. They have Kolasinac though, who played for Marseille, so at least he'll be able to give them some.
So he'll
And
be
I think
able to
even-
tell the keeper where to dive for the penalties.
Exactly. For a sec, I was going to say Malinovsky as well, but he's off at Genoa. I forgot about that. Please.
And then Conference League action as well tomorrow. Fiorentina versus Club Brugge. Fiorentina are on hot form, in inverted commas. They did just get knocked out in the semis against Atalanta. But they had a massive win this week, 5-1 to Sassuolo, with some good squad rotation as well over there. So they will be confident going into it. Getting knocked out in the semis against Atalanta after winning the first leg is absolutely nothing to be ashamed about. Keep in mind, these are 2 seasons in a row where Fiorentina have really progressed in these competitions, man. So
Absolutely.
it's still onwards and upwards. And I just want to make a point about Cannavaro.
Please.
By the way, it's so clear what he's bringing to the table, eh? Just waste time, foul, keep it tight.
Tight.
Those
dude.
17 minutes against Roma, it's like they wanted to spend the 17 minutes not playing. Like,
but they had the better chances after all the game.
They did create.
And even in their...
The most recent game, I forgot who Udinese were against. Shit, I think it's your game.
they played... One second, let me take a quick look because my memory fails me. They played Bologna, of course.
Bologna. Thiago Motta, I believe, passed a comment about that the ball was only in play for 30 minutes in this game. If it's true, it's fucking mad, man.
And that just goes to show. Last week I hailed him as one of the new up and coming,
modern. He's gonna
modern.
Be. There's a guy that was coached by Lippi for so many years, like.
But you know what, man? Some teams need it again. And to be honest, going forward, Udinese have been causing a lot of problems. They scored one against Bologna. They won it back with high press. They won the ball back. And then they forced a red card on the break as well. Last man on Samoncic. So
of course,
going
Motta's
forward, they're
that.
causing a few problems.
I just wasn't expecting his style to be like a relegation coach, just like someone that's a time waster.
He's young. He's at the beginning of his career.
It's a good way to start.
I'm surprised he didn't go in speaking Chinese out of this muscle memory,
literally bad.
But anyway, please guys, remember to like, follow, comment, subscribe, rate, do whatever you have to do wherever you're listening. You know what helps the algorithm, you know what helps the podcast. If you really want to take a step further and help us with the construction of our studio,
this is all because of you guys. This is all because of you.
You can become a patron. It's $3.99 a month. It's the lowest possible price on Patreon, and you will get you will be put in a WhatsApp group with us where basically you'll become part of the community, and it's great fun. Shout out to the homies. We have Alan, Andrew, Andy, Anthony, Tim, Campbell, Slooge McNoodle, # who is Slooge McNoodle,
who the fuck,
Lena, David, Kyle, Luca, Matthias, Mint, Tonna, Michael, and Ed, the boys.
Shout out to all you beautiful motherfuckers for helping us keep the show on the road. Before we get to the rundown, we promised you guys our cream team.
Yes, the cream team, the relegation candidates. We've taken their best players and we've put together teams. We haven't revealed them to each other yet.
So tempting. It's so tempting.
Know, right? It's been
so
hard.
This is bottom 6 teams. We've each constructed a starting 11 of who we believe are their best players. Now, this is mainly based on this season.
Yes.
So there are key players that would be left out because maybe they lacked a little bit this season. However...
Or they've been injured.
Poetic justice is also a thing. So, room for improvisation. We'll see. Shall you start?
We can debate, sure.
What formation did you go for?
So I went for a 4-3-3. Okay. I went for Montipo in goal. That's my keeper over there. I went for Dorgu on the right. I went for Zortea on the left. And I went for Luperto Dos Sena as a centre-back partnership. You might think they're veterans, but they're both in their 20s. Dos Sena and Luperto. You've got two players who feel like they've been around, like they're in their 30s. Yeah, but yeah, that's my defense. Then I've got a midfield 3 that doesn't really have much balance, but it's Folorunsho, Samardzic, and Viola.
Okay.
And then I've got Sule on the right, Luvumbo on the left, and Lorenzo Lucca up front. And that's my cream team, baby.
It's really, really similar to mine. Really similar to mine. So I've got a 3-4-3.
Okay.
Montepo in goal. Back 3 of Dos Sena, Pongracic, and Newen Perez. Okay.
Very nice shot.
For the wing backs, I've gone Zortea and Dorgu. For Dorgu, I was really torn between him and Gallo.
Yes.
Because I do believe that Gallo could be more defensively sound than Dorgu, but Dorgu, since he's been introduced as a bit more of a winger, playing ahead of Gallo, he's caused, like he's a new outlet for Lecce to attack. Midfield 2 of Folorunshaw and Tordsvet.
Ooh, Tordsvet should have made my team.
Who are your midfielders again?
I've got Folorunshaw, Samardzic, Viola.
I was thinking Samardzic, maybe I took him out.
Samardzic stays for me.
There was
I think Viola I would remove.
Samardzic and Remy Udan that were in my mind.
Absolutely. Udan as well.
Front 3, Soler on the left, Lauriante on the right, and Lorenzo Lucca up front.
I think Luvumbo's been better than Lauriante this season.
I don't think so. I
think Luvumbo's been pivotal for Cagliari. Most of their goals, he's involved.
He's been very, very important. I think this is where I said, like, poetic justice. I think overall, Lauriante is the smarter and more gifted player. I think like what he did against Milan, for example, Lauriante, Luvumbo can't do. I believe so. I think he's better. I think Luvumbo is as explosive, but he doesn't have the qualities Lauriante has in front of goal.
Many factors can come into play, of course. The fact that Cagliari remain in the game for longer than Sassuolo do, but I think this season Luvumbo would have earned his team way more points than Lauriante would have. Lauriante is having a bit of an off-season, very moody, very streaky.
I do believe he's the better player, though. I think he is a better player than Luvumbo.
Yes. But not having the greatest season. But you can't really tell in an environment like that, right? Where everyone sucks. Yes, Candreva was one that I found it difficult to leave out. But again, Salernitana have been...
Not a
Berardi, of course, is an honourable mention, but he's been super injured. When he's there, he's always in the team.
He can't be there this season, but he'd be the captain if he were fit.
Duda's a hard one to leave out. Suslov had a very good part of the season as well. Yeah, many mentions, but I'm happy we have similar teams. And Lucca up front. Was that a debate for it? Was it the easiest one of them all?
Easiest one. At a point, I was considering putting Lauriante striker to fit in Luvumbo.
I would have fucking
That was a whole debate, but I'm not. I'm no cheater. Anyway, shall we get into the rundown?
Yes, let's.
We're going to kick things off with Juve nil Milan team, a match between two teams who essentially, well, I'd say they have nothing to play for, but Juve have to be careful because if they keep dropping points, Serie A has 5 places open for Champions League, and if they're not careful, they could finish 6th. Napoli 2, Roma 2, a classic Derby del Sole between these two teams. Napoli actually looked really, really good in this game for a change. That was nice. Inter 2, Torino 0, a Hakan Çalhanoğlu doppietta. Just so the Italian media sucks him off a little bit more, calling him the best midfielder by a landslide in the league. Atalanta 2, Empoli 0. Good clean victory over there for Atalanta. Another goal by Ademola Lookman, who's been on fire recently for Atalanta. Another Pasalic goal as well. Bologna 1, Udinese 1. Fabio Cannavaro's side, just a nightmare to play against for Thiago Motta's men, forcing a red card out of Bologna and managing to steal a point. Very pivotal point. Fiorentina 5, Sassuolo 1. Most goals came in the second half. Sassuolo crumbled. Some of the worst defending I have seen this season.
When we said that Fiorentina are all bark, no bite, that doesn't count when they're playing Sassuolo.
No, absolutely not. Sassuolo and Salernitana are awful defensively. You look at particularly Tresoldi on the first goal of Sotil. Why do you keep... Why is he just backing it up and backing it up and backing it up? Fucking tackle him, dog. What's this, man? You don't invite a winger to cut inside. Why is he angling himself? Basics, bro. Literally.
Basics.
It's like under 12.
I don't know if he was waiting for the midfielder to press because everyone did look towards the midfielder.
There was no one around him. He was the next man.
It was weird. It was definitely
weird. To force him onto the wing or make a challenge.
If you look at him in the entire action, you could have removed him and nothing would have changed.
Sotil would have done the exact same thing without Tresoldi there. So congratulations, Tresoldi. Lazio 1, Verona 0. The only goal here was scored by Zaccagni, Ruolo dell'Ex. pointing at the badge of Lazio as if he didn't have many good seasons at Verona.
I'd almost forgotten. He played
Hey,
the way
man,
he celebrated.
Like, I'm not going to say...
would you be that type of player if you scored against an ex-team that you were maybe there for like 2 seasons? Would you celebrate?
I don't think I'd ever celebrate that. I think, like, it depends on what the goal means as well. Because if it is the biggest goal of my career, and the biggest goal, the club that I'm representing's history, let me go nuts, say. Adrenaline takes over in those cases. If it's a goal against Verona, like, Verona was the step before me joining Lazio. I'll show respect to Verona, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'd like to think I'd be the same, but I guess in the moment you never know. God knows what it feels like to score a goal in a stadium.
The most depressing thought, the darkest thought I've had in the past few years was that I am never gonna score a goal on the biggest stage of world football. I'm never gonna know what it feels like.
You're not even gonna score a goal on one of the smaller stages of world football.
5-a-sides. Me, bro. Small stage, big balls. 5-a-sides. Anyway, and then we're gonna do Frosinone 3. Salernitana 0. Salernitana made Frosinone look really good in this game. Genoa 3, Cagliari 0. This game was played in the clouds.
Yes.
Anyone who watched that knows what I'm talking about. And Lecce won, Monza won, and the score was 0-0 up until the 91st minute. That was quite a crazy game. But I believe you're handling the first game, brother.
Yes, I am. And the first game was the most boring game of them all.
It was I don't think I have ever slept during Juve Milan, but this was the closest I've ever gotten.
Yeah, it was a 0-0, of course, Juve at home. The reverse fixture was a 1-0 win for Juve following a red card for Malik Chow and a goal by Adrian Rabiot. Of course, this time the lineup was a little bit different and things went a little bit differently, in fact. Szczesny was in goal for Juve in a 3-5-2 formation with Danilo, Bremer and Gatti at the back. Kostic on the left, Weah on the right, getting a start over here. Cambiaso deployed as a makeshift midfielder with Locatelli and Rabiot. Vlahovic and Yildiz playing up front. Yildiz getting the start over here, leaving Chiesa on the bench to come on as an impact sub, which eventually did prove to be quite a successful move.
Yeah, very interesting to see Cambiaso in midfield over there. Also, Gatti, do you know that he was a construction worker?
Yeah.
He was a bricklayer.
For Milan, it was a 4-2-3-1 formation with Sportiello in goal, obviously, because Mannian was feeling a little bit sick before, you know. He loves a sick day, Mannian.
He enjoys a sick day. He loves pulling a sickie.
The thing is, he'll show up, he'll do the warm-up, and then... shit!
Rolls a ball.
Yeah. Yeah, Musa was the right back, of course. Calabria and Theo Hernandez were serving suspensions. Florenzi was the left back, with Chow and Gabbia as the centre back pairing. Tomori was also suspended. Reinders and Adli were the midfield double pivot, with Leao on the left, Pulisic on the right, with Loftus-Cheek playing behind Giroud. So let's talk about the lineups very quickly, bro. So first of all, Leao was the captain. With Milan, it's purely seniority. There's no logic about the captain. It's the longest servant of the club. Do you agree with this?
No, personally. I look at character more. I don't want my captain to be walking around and being the worst example on the pitch, personally. I think captain material in this team is probably more Giroud. And to a degree, I know it's his first season. Well, Giroud and Florenzi. For sure, those are the two biggest candidates for captaincy over there. Pulisic, I wouldn't give it to him because it's his first season, but the man captains America and he carries America. So to me, he'd be a preferred candidate to Leao. What do you think?
No, I liked it when I saw it because he is the longest. Captain. He is the longest servant. He needs something to kind of almost snap him out of it, I feel. And I thought the armband maybe would be something that puts a little bit of pressure on his shoulders so that he plays with a little bit more responsibility. More spunk. But I don't think anything really changed.
I disagree. I look more at who's going to lead the team to glory, who's going to be on the front lines for you, like who's going to take a bullet for you.
It could also be as simple as let's keep Leao happy. Let's keep Leao happy until the next coach comes. Let's not cause any drama by offending him. Let's just maintain everything. Let's keep the ship stable. So a new coach can come in next season and he'll still be happy. Not he'll be 1 foot out the door, forcing his way out because he got offended that he didn't get the captain's armband.
I see that side. I see that side of it. I just disagree with it overall.
Yes, it's not the best candidate. You'd want your captain to be one of the ones, that there's a 50-50, he's the first one in there, he's giving his all for the team. That kind of goes.
Giroud has won a World Cup, been in 2 World Cup finals, has scored greatly important goals for Milan's been there for 3 years. He's the ideal candidate.
That's my next question for you, actually. Why is Giroud starting? If he's already signed for this American team, whoever it is, Los Angeles, I don't know who he's going to, but... But does it make sense to play him in these 4 games when you could be giving Okafor a run for his money, try Pulisic in the 9, play Chukwueze instead of bringing him on in the 82nd minute?
You can, but you can't just forget the players that you have to your arsenal, eh?
Not you forget them, but, what's the point? That's what I'm wondering right now. You don't get anything out of it. It doesn't matter if he scores, it doesn't matter
if it's
how
the system more, Giroud.
But it doesn't matter at this point, does it?
It does, eh? Because Milan want to maintain the position that they have. Okay, there's nothing to play for Milan at the moment. But it doesn't mean they're going to actively act like it. It's important to go up against this Juve team with your best squad on paper. I get you.
Yeah, just invest in the future. It doesn't make any sense.
Okafor is a very promising player that can have a really good future at Milan, especially next season.
Who seems to score for fun when he comes on, without even having a sniff.
I understand your point of giving these players more of a chance, especially since Giroud is leaving. But I also believe in honouring Giroud's career at Milan, not disrespecting him.
No, but then you bring him on, or you play him in the last game at San Siro, gets to give a round of applause, all that stuff.
That you can do. I'm just not gonna... I don't want to make the team less effective just for the sake of an experiment.
It's not like you
think Pioli cares about next season? Pioli is out.
Yes, but hopefully there should be some pressure from the top. Hey, like Giroud, this guy isn't going to be here next season. Let's try to see what maybe in these 4 games, I don't know, Chukwueze can keep proving what he can do, or Okafor comes on and impresses, Jovic pulled up injured before, so we couldn't play him, but... I
don't know what him and Mike were doing before the game, man, Allah, fucking
but I think it would be wise, man. I think that this feels like a little bit of a waste, playing Giroud.
Fair enough, no, it's a good point, you can experiment.
So, yes, Juve have drawn in Serie A for the 3rd time in a row. The first one being at Torino, then Cagliari, and now Milan. But this time they did it with a different approach. They attacked, bro. And in the second half, they attacked even more than in the first half. They just attacked and attacked and attacked. This game, to be honest, was all Juve. In fact, Milan had 0 shots on target. We could say that Milan this game were physically and mentally hungover.
That's what I think. Milan have just come off the most devastating week in the club's recent history, losing the league to Inter in their own stadium, getting knocked out against Roma. Pioli wakes up every morning, opens his phone, and there's a new rumor about who Milan are gonna sign as manager. Fucking, it's right now, it's a catastrophe. But I was reading a lot about this game after watching it, and I was seeing a lot of criticism towards Milan for the way they played. What I will say, as someone with Milan's utmost fucking support and understanding of Milan, is Milan over here showing a game where Milan had absolutely no right to win it. Milan were never gonna fucking win this game after the terrible week they've had, all the suspensions, all the injuries. And what we saw by Milan, Juve took that attacking approach. Congratulations. Milan fielded a back 4 that I don't think has ever started together. And this was one of the best defensive performances I have seen by Milan, particularly individually this season. And Sportiello, in place of Magnan, brilliant fucking performance. Best performer to me by a landslide. I don't know if I'm jumping.
Not a landslide. It's okay. I can adapt. In fact, I don't really have a play-by-play for this one. Just overall.
No, not landslide because of Sportiello. But Malik Chow.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was going to say.
Made 0 mistakes.
He was incredible.
He was insane.
Incredible. He was
insane.
Back to his best.
Literally.
And this is in a game where in the reverse fixture he cost the game. He got a red card.
Exactly.
So very happy and very.
So to you, Real
proud of
Madrid, I say make it 60.
Yeah, because apparently Real Madrid are in for Chow, which I do hope Milan hold on to him, because when he is on, he looks incredible, man.
That's it. I almost forgot, because obviously he had been out for a while, poor guy.
Yeah.
Because we forget that injuries are devastating for players, and we think they're more devastating for us. He was out for so long. He came back, obviously, rocky. Milan were rocky at that time.
Yeah.
He made some mistakes.
He's still young, obviously.
Still young.
Yeah.
But he in this game, marking Vlahovic, it's like, sniff this, Vlahovic. You're not going to sniff the goal. Sniff this, sniff my balls, Chow told him. He did nothing, Vlahovic. Did nothing. He was in Chow's pocket, honestly.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. Huh?
Sniff my balls, he told him.
So, Magic Mike Manyan. What are we calling Sport Yellow? Magnetic Marco. Supernatural Sport Yellow.
Fucking sexy Sport Yellow, man. Fucking sporty Sport Yellow.
Sport.
Sporty Spice.
Yeah, there we go.
I love sports, man. It's literally in my name.
There are 4 reasons that contribute to Milan's mental and physical hangover, I think. I think, first of all, the season has been very long, to the point that we almost forget that earlier this season, Milan were playing in the group of death and faced elimination from that. And it was very narrow as well, very marginal.
With the hill of Newcastle.
The hill of Newcastle.
The hill.
The difficult hill that Milan absolutely destroyed them on. There was Europa League elimination, of course, against Roma, which was recently. They lost to Winter, giving them the league, and now the rumours of a new manager. Everything is in kind of disarray, but it's nice to see that even though they didn't create, they didn't concede.
Yeah,
so at least
exactly.
That. Because as you mentioned, this game was never going to go well. It was destined for failure.
No. And I kind of, that's one of the reasons I like the fact that Giroud and Loftus started this game. Just size. Even when Milan are defending. Power.
Have you seen the drama around Leao not shaking Danilo's hand?
No.
So, okay, there was a video going around.
Does it shake his hand?
No, so during the exchange of tokens and trinkets at the beginning, Danilo and Leao walked up, whatever, and after the coin was tossed and when they were walking away, Leao shook hands with the referees, turned around, and as he was turning around, Danilo stuck his hand out to shake his hand, and it did look like Leao ghosted him, right? Very convincing, and it looked to be the case. However, what people aren't showing is the first part of the video when Danilo and Leao walk up to each other, exchange trinkets, high five, and shake hands. So they did shake hands. It was just cropped for social media.
Danilo needs a kiss on the mouth as well. Why is he going in for a double handshake?
He gave him a sarcastic thumbs up, though, Danilo. He was annoyed by the fact that he walked away.
What the hell does he want, man? Literally like a kiss on the mouth.
I think he wanted him to shake his hand again before they left. To be honest, that is standard procedure, but Leao doesn't have much experience being the captain.
Is it standard procedure to shake hands twice?
Always, yes. You shake hands with everyone, you toss, and then shake hands for good luck.
Okay.
So first it's hey, and then it's good luck. That type of.
I guess. Sorry,
but I think I don't think it was malicious by Leo.
I don't think so.
Yes. So yes, Milan 0 shots on target, still managed clean sheet against a particularly feral Juve side, largely thanks to Chow and Sportiello, as we discussed. Sportiello made a few unbelievable saves.
Madonna, bro. He made, I think, a save of the season in this game, for sure.
Probably, man. He had a double save at one point. He had a save with his face. Chow kept Vlahovic quiet and cleared a Rabiot shot off the line as well and celebrated like he'd scored a goal.
Malik Chow, man. Malik fucking Chow.
On the other side, you had Leao, who was well marshalled by Wea and Cambiaso, who did really well to deal with him all game. Cambiaso, as a makeshift midfielder, can ping it. Another point I'd like to say. He was moving the play around really well.
It can work. He's ambidextrous and creative enough for it to work, and strong as well.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I'm still not sure which his stronger foot is. Locatelli and Rabiot put in decent defensive shifts, even though I'll be quite conservative with my praise because of the situation. Chiesa, though, did come off the bench and looked pretty incredible.
It was scary.
He had 4 key passes in 30 minutes, which is more than Milan's entire team in the entire game. So yeah. One more observation before we get into Juve's final 5 games. Final 4 games. Szczesny didn't wear a mask this game. He's been wearing a mask recently, Szczesny, because he had some operation, some surgery on his face a few weeks ago. It would have been interesting to see how he played without the mask, but again, in reality, he didn't have a single save to make. He only was called upon once to come out and punch away a cross, and he did that well. So yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get to see what naked Szczesny is up to.
I don't know, before we get into Juve's final game, there's at the moment a battle going on between these two teams for the signature of
Thiago Motta, yes.
So, for context, Milan have been really close to securing Lopetegui, who is the favourite figure by Milan's board. Close to signing, personal deals essentially agreed. However, Milan's board have received a petition with 8,000 signatures. No Lopetegui is what they're asking for. Don't sign Lopetegui, which it has apparently arrived to the board and it's rattled them a little bit to the point where they're like, okay, let's not pull the trigger yet. Let's re-explore the market. And one of the coaches that they're looking at is Thiago Motta, who has been in very, very close contact with Juve, and they're looking to hijack the deal. But apparently, Juve have agreed personal terms with him.
Yes, it turns out that there isn't much of a difference between the way Milan are run and between the Labour Party in Malta, right? When it comes to being populist. Look, man, I like the fact that the Milan board are... Sorry, my voice is already going with this wine. I like the fact that they listen to the fans and they're looking at it and kind of realigning their ambitions because of the outroar that came up, the outrage of the rumor, basically. But what does that say about the management, man? What does that say about them? Like, weren't you expecting that reaction when like, Lopetegui, like, you could have asked any average Joe Milan fan about Lopetegui and they would have been like, I'd rather someone else. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, this is going to be the reaction. Like, granted, maybe when you look at it analytically, you look at your whole Moneyball thing and the fact that Lopetegui fits your style, he's got decent teams on his CV and all that. But obviously, that's not a hot target for Milan, man.
It doesn't show me that they have confidence in the decision that they're making.
Yes, exactly.
Like you compared it to the Labour Party. Like, when... like when there was COVID, remember that? And they had tightened the restrictions, they made it more strict, and there was something about, like, you can go to a restaurant, you just have to wear your mask, and then when you sit down, you can't take it off. Everyone was like, listen, this is kind of cap, like, this is weird, like, cut it out. And they're like, alright. What, man?
Exactly.
Don't you have special?
Don't you have scientific evidence to back up your claims right there?
Don't you have someone that knows more than us? Like, you know. So it does show me that there's a bit of a lack of confidence in their decision. Do I hate it, man? Do I hate that they listen to the fans? No, I don't hate it. But at the same time, no one wanted Pioli.
Yeah.
But they knew something we didn't. And in 2 years, Pioli told them, look, in 2 years, we're going to win the league. What happened in 2 years?
Thing,
they won the league.
The management should be self-assured with their decisions, I feel. I feel like they... If a few tweets are going to throw you off and a petition is going to throw you off, then clearly you didn't have your mind 100% made up, man. And I guess that was never really the case that they had there. It was more of a rumor than anything else. I mean, Di Marzio did say that they were in advanced stages in the conversation, but you know, we never really know what's going on. And I find it hard to believe that Milan actually did abandon this manager when they were so close to signing him because of a petition or a few tweets. I find that very hard to believe. So we'll see.
So other
I
names...
like Motta. Motta for me would be the ideal manager.
To me, if Milan get Motta and Zirkzee, like it's done.
No, Zirkzee out, sign Mbappe.
Like
that's a petition. Yeah, listen to the fans, guys.
No, like it's that is a massive sell, that you have a system like that with a key player in Bologna's system, that'd be amazing. You're literally taking the two most powerful things in Bologna and implementing them into Milan. That would be insane. Other names that are being mentioned, De Zerbi, obviously, is a hot name that's being mentioned. And also, this one's flying under the radar a little bit, but he has a lot of interest from the Premier League. Ruben Amorim is a name that has been being thrown around. He is a Portuguese manager. He was the manager of Sporting, and Sporting have had great success recently.
They made João Mario look like a Ballon d'Or winner, the way he's been playing this season.
Literally. No, he's
what's on his CV? This Amorim guy. Educate me.
Let's have a look. And also this guy, Julian Nagelsmann.
Ah, yes. Nagelsmann. Whatever.
So I'll open him in a new tab and I'll tell you about him soon. But let's have a look at Ruben Amorim's CV. Okay, so he was a player that played for Benfica. Okay,
he has 14 caps for Portugal.
Not an incredibly lucrative career. No,
it's just Sporting as a manager.
As a manager, he was Braga's manager for a season. He's relatively new on the market. He's been Sporting's manager from 2020 onwards. I do believe that he's won a league with Sporting. He got Sporting their first league title in 19 years. So that's something. And then in 2021-2022, they saw an improvement in their European football and they finished runners-up in the league as well. And then 2022-2023, things fell off a little bit, but this season, they're challenging for the title again. So ups and downs, but he looks quite promising as well.
Interesting.
Nagelsmann, on the other hand...
He's better known, right? More of a kind of established manager, I think, Nagelsmann.
I believe so.
Germany, no? He was the manager of Germany.
Well, he was Germany's manager. Yeah. He was Bayern Munich's manager.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Leipzig.
Is he Germany? He's Germany's current manager.
Oh.
Yeah, he's Germany's current manager, Nagelsmann.
How old is he? Go up.
He's 42. No, 36.
36?
He's a... 36! He's a young buck.
He's a young man.
Mm-hmm. He's been mentioned. I don't know how serious it is, though. Nagelsmann.
We'll see. Honestly, I'm
he a
very
recently
curious
retired
to
footballer?
see what happens with...
he's had a senior career where he's made 0 caps. He had a youth career and then that's essentially it. Went into coaching,
Went into coaching
instantly.
Preferred the coaching lifestyle.
Let's just say I don't hate the idea of Lopetegui either. I think he has his strengths, but it is worth exploring the market a bit further. Don't settle for something you're clearly not too sure about.
The thing is, it's important not to leave it to the end and not to panic.
What you need is a full pre-season.
Yes, exactly. That's essential. And for example, Lazio now we're getting a pre-season now. So
I almost don't hate if a move was done now. Last 4 games, get a proper feel for it, see the team in a competitive way, then have a full pre-season. I don't hate it.
Yeah,
like it's gonna work out well for Lazio in that sense.
So Juve need 5 more points for mathematical Champions League qualification. Right? This is who they face. So they need 5 points, which is basically 2 wins or a win and 2 draws. They have Roma away up next.
Tough.
Difficult, yes.
Salernitana Roma need a win as well because they've got Atalanta on their asses.
Absolutely. Salernitana at home, okay, Again, they have nothing to play for, and we've seen once Cagliari, who had nothing to play for, once held Milan and stopped them from getting Europe.
Then Milan beat Juve 3-0 and Atalanta 2-0.
Exactly, almost stopped them from getting Europe. Yeah. So let's assume, obviously, that the Salernitana games are 3 points.
They're so bad, Juve might get 5 points from that game.
So let's assume, that Salernitana is a guaranteed 3 points, which means they need another win. Then they have Bologna away, which is tough.
Tough as fuck.
And then Monza at home, last game of the season. So it depends. I think the ball might end up being in Monza's hands. And I don't know how Monza would take this toss. Because at the end of the day, the last game of the season, you'd want to face a team that's mid-table. That they don't really have the fear of relegation. They're not really fighting for anything. But they can park the bus and fuck it for them.
You know what the most beautiful thing about situations like this are? Bro, everyone hates Juve. Like these teams, these players, they would want to stop that party. They want to be the team that stops Juve.
Yeah.
As
you have Palladino, who worked at Juve. You have Mota, who was a youngster at Juve's academy.
I can see it. Mota with the goal. Just it would be insane. But how do you fancy their chances?
No,
because
I think they'll get it.
It's come to a point, yes, but it's come to a point where we just keep saying, yes, but they'll get it. Yes, but they'll get it.
No, but even with these games, I think even with these games, looking at it, I think that they'll beat Salernitana. And I think they'll get another win.
Somewhere around here, they have the Coppa final on the 15th of May. My God. On the 15th of May, they have the Coppa final. So
plus, it also depends on the other teams. The other teams around them need to keep winning as well, which might not be. No, but I think it's pretty much
Bologna
confirmed
and Roma
Juve,
are going to keep winning.
But they've drawn 3 in a row now. They need to get back to winning ways because this might not be enough.
Bro, in their last 15, they have 3 wins only. They're a disaster.
They've gone to shit, honestly.
From January onwards. It's not like it's a bad spell. They've been a disaster.
Absolutely, yes. And in fact, they have 65 points in third, while Roma in fifth have 59 points, and Atalanta in sixth have 57 points, and the game in hand against Fiorentina.
Yes, against Fiorentina, because that's when Joe Barone unfortunately passed away.
Yes, absolutely. And Milan, on the other hand, are still on the island with 70 points in second. The
island boy.
That's it. That's it. That's the game. That was Juve Milan. We talked about it for quite a while.
We did. How deep
somehow,
are we?
Somehow.
Oh my God, bro!
46 minutes in. How is this possible?
We spent 20 minutes on the intro. To be fair, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. The Derby del Sole. That's crazy, bro. A sip of wine and we won't shut the fuck up. I'm so sorry, guys.
This is gonna be a 4-hour episode.
A 4-hour episode. The Derby del Sole, though, am I right? I don't know what it is about the Derby del Sole as a fixture. I simply love it. I adore it. I like how it's the two teams, the Derby del Sole, essentially what it is the two top teams that aren't from the north of Italy. So you have Rome in the center, and then you've got Naples in the south. So they're like the underdogs out of the top teams, so to say. And it's always super entertaining. And, well, this season maybe is the first time that Osimhen didn't have a trademark goal in this fixture. Because Seaman loves a goal in this fixture, man. And he has 2 of my favorite Seaman goals ever came in this fixture, man. So the previous encounter was a 2-0 victory for Roma. And this game ended 2-2. Napoli were in dire need for a boost after 1 point from games against relegation battlers Frosinone and Empoli. Very disappointing stuff. Zielinski and Gollini were injured. Rui and Rahmani returned from suspension. Roma stayed 5th with Thursday's last gasp victory in the 17-minute match against Udinese, completing the fixture suspended for Evan Ndika's collapsed lung.
That's what happened?
Apparently, it was a collapsed lung. He played in this game and he assisted. So, power Evan. Ndika made his return here, but Paredes and Llorente sat out bans with Chris Smalling, Greg Karsdorp and Romelu Lukaku not fully fit. As for the lineups, it was a 4-3-3 formation for Napoli, Meret in goal and a backline of Di Lorenzo, Rahmani, Jesus and Oliveira, midfield 3 of Anguissa, Lobotka and Kajust, Gvara on the left, Politano on the right and Osimhen up front. Also a 4-3-3 for Roma, Svilar in goal, backline of Christensen, Mancini, Ndika and Spinazzola, midfield of Bove, Cristante and Pellegrini, El Shaarawy and Dybala flanking Azmoun. Just say it wasn't you. Alright.
Serdar Azmoun. He's a pretty good player, Azmoun. He always surprises me with his skill set.
He's decent. I have a question about him later.
Please. Later.
Well, I can ask you now because it's just weird.
Sure.
I always find it strange how like a manager would make a signing. So, Mourinho signs Azmoun.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mourinho's out halfway through the season, De Rossi is in. It's just the process of De Rossi figuring out, like, okay, why did Mourinho want this player? How did Mourinho want to utilize this player? I don't see it, or I see it. Imagine walking in, like I remember there was one with Real where a manager walked in and the striker was Adebayor wearing the number 6, and he was like,
what's going on here?
What is going on? Like,
Adebayor with this 6?
Is he pinging passes in midfield? Like,
imagine walking into Hellas Verona and there's De Guzman with the 1.
How weird!
What's going on?
How weird!
Yeah, that's hilarious. Absolutely, but it seems to be that Asmus found more time with De Rossi. So clearly, he likes something about him. He's using him as kind of a counter-attacking striker.
Yeah,
which is good. And fortunately for him as well, Lukaku's been out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Fortunately for everyone.
No, bro. Since you made claim about Lukaku, by the way,
he's been fucking me. He's been fucking me. He's been fucking me. Oh, what can
every
I
time
say?
I watch him, I'm like, damn.
No, what we're gonna pretend like he doesn't have strong qualities? Just like he's finished.
Oh, but he's definitely. You
had
had said
play him
clean
through. Play him clean through.
You
play
said,
him clean through.
You play him clean through. They might catch up to him, but he'll lay it off to the midfielder or the winger. And they'll be one-on-one.
What a great passing striker.
He's a utility striker.
Exactly. And
but for a top 7 team, he wouldn't start.
No, I don't think so. No. So you have a striker that passes.
He's starting currently for.
You need a like a dog man up front. A goal scorer.
Lukaku has been good, bro.
Can I start?
Please, of course you can. Yeah.
Anguissa did everything wrong in a 1v1 versus Villar in the 35th minute. He hit the ball high, wide, and not at all handsome.
Yes.
Horrible, huh? Horrible.
And his hair's too long. He needs to cut it.
Mr. Padovani.
You could never go to a private school
literally.
But it is longer than it usually is, right?
Yes, it's down to his ass, bro.
When I saw him in that chance, I'm like, that must actually weigh him down. Like, that looks thick and heavy.
It must, because it's all tied up as well. He has a lot of hair, man.
And that finish was...
What the hell?
It was funny.
It's like when you shoot it with your toe, man.
Exactly, like
Punta. Yeah. Moments later, Gvara tested Svilar. Svilar got a good one-handed save. Napoli actually had the better first half. They were attacking, they were lively, they're really bringing the game to Roma, who looked either stunned or fatigued. Probably fatigued.
I would say so.
However, and then in the 59th minute, Roma opened the scoring through Dybala from the spot. Svilar went the right way, but couldn't stop the well-placed penalty. Juan Jesus gave this one away as he attempted to clear the ball and kicked Azmoun, bringing him down. Not the first time we've seen a clumsy penalty given away by Juan Jesus this season. Handballs and late challenges and mistimed challenges. And but to be honest, the person he is replacing, Kim Min-jae, had a stinker yesterday for Bayern against Real.
To be fair, having a stinker against Vinny, it's understandable. Having a stinker against Real is understandable. Juan Jesus has been having stinkers against Lecce this season. I think it's a situation where the player doesn't fit the caliber of the club. And Napoli won the league last season. They didn't reinforce, and Juan Jesus somehow find himself to be the starter, which, by the way, is confusing because Ostergaard to me just seems better.
I think so.
I think they value maybe Juan Jesus' experience or something, but he seems to be too error-prone for me at this particular level. I think it'd be deployable for a mid-table Serie A team, but not Napoli.
He played best against Inter because he was angry.
Yes.
Over there, he really rose to the occasion. He needs a manager to make him angry, not to the extent that Acerbi made him angry as a manager, But he's really struggled this season, Juan Jesus.
He really has. Absolutely.
That's fucking hilarious. 64th minute. Napoli equalised through Oliveira. It was a strike from the edge of the area that looped over Villar and into the back of the net after a significant deflection of Christensen. Quite lucky over there.
He celebrated, he didn't give a fuck.
It's an equalizer.
He did like a whole, like, I don't even know what he did.
I think he was waving in a sweet way, either to people in the stands or whatever.
Or to Juan Jesus' Napoli career.
In the 72nd minute, Villar denied Osimhen clean through on goal. Just Villar, man, like he's just good.
He's good.
He's really, really good. Like he's the real deal.
He's been
Villar.
Honestly unbelievable. When you think of the fact they think about the fact that Mourinho was playing Rui Patricio week in, week out when this guy was available. Just goes to show.
And it's unlike Mourinho, because Mourinho is the guy that ended Iker Casillas' career for Diego Lopez.
Exactly.
Diego Lopez that got benched by Donnarumma 2 years later.
Absolutely, towards the end of his career. And but it's still weird when you bench such an experienced keeper for a 16-year-old. And that was... I don't think we'll ever see that again.
It's true.
That was insane when you think about it.
Donnarumma used to call him back then.
But yes, Villar, whose name isn't Mike, but Miles Villar.
Miles Villar.
Yes.
Miles Villar.
He has exceeded all expectations. 24 years old in goal. He walked in like it was no problem for him. You know, just like I play in goal, and I've played at every level imaginable. You know what I mean? Like effortless, absolutely effortless. He was signed from Benfica, so to be fair, he has a bit of a background playing at a decent level, and before that, Anderlecht. So you know what I mean. The guy clearly
has European minutes under his belt.
Yes.
He's also very handsome. Just to put that out there for all of you that don't know.
Is it because he's got a similar moustache to you?
Has he got a similar moustache to me? I think
he's got the goatee as well.
So it's not that similar. It's a goatee. I have a moustache. It's not that similar.
But the moustache style is, when it doesn't kind of connect to the nose.
I think he's a bit more porny than me. Let me just put it that way. He has a bit more of a porny.
Definitely not.
You think I'm porny?
Bro, honestly, right now, don't look at the camera and ask that, because it'll be snipped and made into a meme. You're obviously porny. You've got a mullet and a moustache. You're the porniest person I've ever seen in my life, bro.
The porniest person. You just should watch that Netflix series that came out of Rocco Siffredi and tell me who porny is. What the hell is this conversation? I'm going to continue. In the 84th minute, Napoli won a penalty. Sanchez gave this one away very, very clumsily. He tripped up Gvara with an extended leg whilst he was grounded. It did go to VAR, and VAR awarded it. Sanchez is another person that has had a nightmare of a career at Roma. Osimhen,
career in general.
Osimhen stepped up and sent Villar the wrong way. Surprisingly, Osimhen stepped up, and surprisingly, Osimhen scored in this one. So he made it 2-1 to Napoli. However, just 4 minutes later, in the 88th minute, a corner was flicked on by Evan Ndika to Tammy Abraham, who headed in at the far post. VAR confirmed that the equalizer was not offside. I've watched it many a times, and many a times I thought it was offside until it gets the actual graph with the line. It looks hella offside.
It does look offside, doesn't it? But apparently he was on, and I'm very happy for Abraham, who's had to be patient. His patience has been tested to the maximum.
With
his injury. And for a striker, I think it might be one of the hardest positions to come back from an injury because you're expected to score, and the average fan will give you 2-3 games. But on your fourth game not getting a goal, the criticism starts to pile, bro.
Especially after he had a great starting season, Tammy Abraham, with Roma. He still holds the record for the most goals in a debut season by a foreign player in Serie A. The next season, our TikTok went viral saying if Abraham tried to shoot John Lennon, he would be 70-something today. And it went nuts, this TikTok, because it was true. And he missed so many good chances last season. And now he was injured for the majority of this one, which sucks for him because it was redemption time. And they brought Lukaku on board, they brought Azmoun on board while he lays in a hospital bed saying, fuck, is my career with Roma finished? after such a great starting season.
And Dybala coming in, he must have been gas. He must have been.
Hey, I'm gonna score so many goals.
I hope I get to play with this guy. Yeah.
Alas, now slowly making his way back into the equation. I forgot how good he is, so now it's up to him to remind us how good he is. Hopefully he'll get some good minutes. Perhaps we'll see what happens with Lukaku, because I don't know the details of his contract. But if Lukaku stays and all that, he doesn't go to Saudi, it wouldn't hurt if he got a loan away, Tammy Abraham. It wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt.
That's a very good point. Tammy Abraham nowadays is how old? Let me take a quick look.
Must be like 26, 27.
He's 26. You're pretty good at guessing ages.
Thank you.
26 years old. It's true, but the way his career has panned out, it alone might actually suit him. You're absolutely right. Just being the protagonist without as much pressure. Might be a good idea. Yeah, kind of like rehabilitation from his injury.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think Roma's schedule is taking effect, and that is why perhaps they didn't look that lively in this game. And Napoli really pressed them in this game, and they were forcing them into error. And it almost seemed like Roma didn't have the energy to fight back against Napoli. They have asked Roma for the showdown for 5th place, because as you guys know, Roma are in 5th, 2 points ahead of Atalanta, and Atalanta have that game in hand against Fiorentina. I unfortunately don't have an update for you guys on when that game is going to take place. But they essentially have a direct encounter against each other coming up not the next match day, the one after. It's Atalanta-Roma, right? Roma have asked for the showdown for 5th place with Atalanta to be switched to Monday, May 13th. But that would have also meant shifting the Coppa Italia final between Juve and Atalanta from its May 15th slot. So subsequently the appeal was rejected, and the Serie A clash will be played on Sunday, May 12th at 6:45 p.m, which probably means 8:45 for us, but that doesn't matter. So essentially, Roma play Leverkusen on the 9th of May, away from home. They travel to Bergamo. They'll probably go straight to Bergamo from Germany and play on the 12th. So there's only 3 days between those two pivotal matches, whilst Atalanta play Roma on the 12th. 3 days later, they play Juve in the final.
So it's safe to say that head-to-head between Atalanta and Roma will see quite a few. I don't know if it will be maybe rested players or a lack of intensity. You're clutching my arm. What's up?
Because Atalanta have the same issue. They obviously play that Thursday as well.
Absolutely.
So 9th May, home to Marseille. 12th May, home to Roma. 15th May, home to Juve.
It's as simple as
19th May away to Lecce. Like, it's actually, the schedule is fucked, man.
It's
3
fucked,
days
but
between
it affects
these games.
both teams. So now it's just a case of who has the better depth and who has the better fitness and which manager is best at managing this situation. That's a manager's job. You look at the schedule right here, packed 3 games apart between each games. How the hell are you going to manage it? How are you going to manage it? And Gasperini is the king of rotation. So I think he might have an edge over here on Roma, because De Rossi is new to the job. This is his first time probably managing a situation.
And he has a team that is notorious to be injury prone.
Injury-prone and thin as a squad.
Dybala,
Yes.
you know, all these guys. Pellegrini,
Absolutely.
Spinazzola, Tammy Abraham. I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah, keep going,
all
Who
these
else?
guys. Renato Sanchez
Who else?
or Renat Sanchez,
Renat
dare I
Sanchez.
say. So I think I honestly might favour Atalanta getting Champions League over Roma. So fucking...
It wouldn't be surprising. I mean, Atalanta have been around, and anyone who follows the league closely would never write Atalanta off of top 4 every single season, because they have the ability to just to do damage with different lineups, man. It doesn't matter if they've got Scamacca up front, if they've got El Bilal up front. It doesn't matter who they've got. They will They will score, man.
Lookman, Miranchuk, they don't give a fuck.
They make it work, man.
Atalanta don't give a fuck.
Yes, Gasperini.
Roma give a bit of a fuck.
Gasperini is the king of rotation and the king of weird management, basically.
We saw Calzona attempt something in this game.
Yes, what did he attempt? The first touch, no look control.
So he brought on Traore.
This has been everywhere.
And then he took him off after 20 minutes for Ostigard.
Because of a corner, right?
It's like, we're ahead now. I don't want to concede a corner because Roma are really good at corners and we can't defend them for shit. So I just brought on Traore for the goal. We got it. Fuck it. Take him out. Bring on Ostigard. And what he said was, we were aware of Roma's strength from set pieces, so I made a substitution before the corner kick, but it wasn't enough. The Italian tactician told Sky Sport Italia, tonight we deserved to win, and we didn't allow too many opportunities to the most informed team in the league. I think he's right over there. I think Napoli were very, very good, and they could have gotten a victory over here. De Rossi, on the other hand,
they were dominant.
Yes. De Rossi said this, we are right there. To date, there are 5 places to go to the we are right there. To date, there are 5 places to go to the Champions League, and we are 5th. Atalanta is down by 2 points. We will try until the end. We have some difficult games lined up. In fact, let's look at both of these sides' fixtures in full. So Roma now play Leverkusen tomorrow. I'm coming over for that.
All right, no problem.
Nice. And then they play 3 days later. Roma play Juve, and then 4 days later, Leverkusen, Roma. 3 days later, they play Atalanta, and then they have a week until their game against Genoa, and then a week until their game against Empoli, and then a week, and they finish off the season with a game at home to Milan, which is huge. Atalanta, on the other hand, have Marseille away tomorrow, and then 4 days later, they play Salernitana away, which is chill as fuck. And then 3 days later, they play Marseille at home. And then they have the Roma game 3 days later. They have the Coppa Italia final 3 days later against Juve. And then 4 days later, they play Lecce away. And then a week later, they play Torino home. I honestly think Atalanta have... And at some point, Atalanta are going to have to play Fiorentina also. That's just not listed down over there.
Because it hasn't been decided.
It hasn't been decided, and that is probably tough because they already have a tight schedule as is, bro. It will probably come between the Lecce game and the Torino game because it's the only time they have a full week to prepare. Like,
probably, or just last game of the season. Boom.
I doubt they'll do that because with the last game of the season, there's the whole thing. We have to play it at the same time and on the same day. So I think it'll be between those 2 games. Just a quick bet. I say it's going to be Atalanta.
Who qualify
for Champions League.
Ooh, look at that hand ready.
From Serie A.
What's the bet?
From Serie A. Fucking what? What do you want to do?
I don't know. You're sticking your hand out.
€5. €5. Maybe we'll cancel out the Verona one.
That you haven't paid me for yet.
We'll have to wait until Matchday 38, bro. Even though they can't.
So you think that Atalanta will clinch Champions League ahead of Roma
in the league. So Roma can still get Champions League by winning the fucking... These teams might face off in the fucking Europa League final as well. There's always a rivalry, like last season it was Milan, Napoli, and also Milan Inter because they played each other 5 times, but that wasn't a rivalry really because Inter got the best of Milan. This year it was Roma, Milan, and Roma, Napoli. You know, okay, stop vomiting and
I just fucking swallowed so badly.
You think Roma?
I think Atalanta, but for the vibes, I will.
For the vibes, he thinks Roma.
Come on, Roma. Come on, Cesco.
Where are they in the standings? As we've said 1,000 times, Roma in 5th on 59 points. Atalanta in 6th on 57 points, but with a game in hand. But you're still, even though Inter won the league, you're still gonna keep on recording, Matt. There's so much
something
going
you
on.
heard today?
Yes, bro. Because I have team drinks going on right now.
They think, dude, the number 1 isn't even the most interesting thing, in my opinion.
Like, number
The
one has
interesting
been
thing-
sorted from fucking February.
It's
Like,
all about the bottom at Serie A Spotlight. It's all about
we
it.
love being at the
Yes.
bottom.
Okay.
What the hell?
Moving on, we've got Inter that we need to talk about, and I'm tired of talking about Inter, bro.
What are we gonna say?
I'm
That
tired,
how
man.
many trophies Simone Inzaghi won? How many assists Alla Di Marco has? How many fucking tackles Pavard has? What are we gonna say, bro?
How many players are on Finesteride? We can talk about so many things.
And let me tell you what, I'm gonna be brutally honest with you. Inter's left backs aren't two of them. They're not on.
What do you mean?
Augusto and Di Marco, disaster.
They're here.
Yes,
Augusto in 1 year has
Mkhitaryan,
lost most of it, man. It's crazy.
Mkhitaryan, disaster.
Mkhitaryan,
Barella-
I think he was born like that.
But Barella, we've seen a bit of an improvement. In the old
That's
line.
because you haven't seen that one photo that's been
There's
going
one
around.
circulating photo.
There's one circulating photo. Here we are.
In Inter, if there's one thing they suck at, it's their hairlines. That is
That's it.
one thing I'm gonna be clear about.
Yeah.
It's fine. Respect to all the homies, but
Check this out, bro.
you're actually
Show the camera. Show the camera.
I don't know if you guys,
Yeah, it's a bad one.
but in that case, bro,
I mean, he's got all the money in the world. To be honest with
you can have this hairstyle.
Yes, I think so.
You can grow this hair. Probably, dare I say, you can grow more. This is beyond the McDonald's logo. Guys, if you're watching, if you're listening on Spotify or whatever, just, I don't know, man, watch the YouTube video. Like, that is the most ridiculous thing I've seen.
So moving on from Inter. No, so the game was quite... Okay, wait. Let's do this properly, okay? The reverse fixture was a 3-0 victory for Inter, which saw Çalhanoğlu scoring a penalty, Lautaro scoring and Thuram scoring as well, the classic, of course. For this game, Sommer was in goal for Inter in a 3-5-2 formation with Benjamin, De Vrij and Bastoni at the back. Darmian was out on the right with Augusto out on the left. Barella, Çalhanoğlu and Mkhitaryan were in the middle with Thuram and Martinez starting up front. For Torino, it was a 4-2-3-1 formation with Vanya, Milinkovic-Savic in goal. Bellanova on the right, Rodriguez on the left with Buongiorno and Lovato as a centre-back partnership, Ilicic and Tameze in the double pivot with Lazaro and Vlasic on the wings and Zapata playing ahead of Ricci.
What does Barella do when he's at the pool, man? That's what I want to know.
Is that what you mean?
What does he do when he's at the pool?
Nothing.
And his hair is wet. He doesn't.
Bro, honestly, for some people, maybe he doesn't give a fuck.
How can he not give a fuck?
Maybe he doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't
Can he
give a
not give a
fuck.
fuck? Doesn't give a fuck. What do
You
you
think Mkhitaryan gives a fuck?
I don't think Mkhitaryan gives a fuck about anything.
Apart from tracking back and just being a
Exactly.
Because Mkhitaryan, man, I have run out of superlatives for this 35-year-old Armenian dude. He is a beast,
He
man.
is as clean as he is a hard worker.
He's a beast. He does all the dirty work for 35 years old in the toughest fucking position in football. But anyway, Torino started brightly with several attempts on goal by Ricardo Rodriguez and Duvan Zapata. We saw the usual, Bellanova crossing to Zapata, him missing narrowly. Mkhitaryan and others for Inter had a few chances, including a lob over the bar and a few diving headers that were narrowly missed. In the second half, Tameze fouled Mkhitaryan and it initially resulted in a yellow card, but this was upgraded to a red after a VAR review, leaving Torino with 10 men. Fun fact about this game, bro, it made history, this game.
Why?
All-female refereeing team.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yes.
Wow.
And they sent Tamez off. So classic women are racist. Now, moving on, Çalhanoğlu capitalized on the advantage. He scored a brace for Inter.
Down, bro.
Cheers, bro.
That down.
He scored a very nice goal after a swift move orchestrated by Barella and Martinez. And then he volleyed it in. And then after that, there was a penalty, which he just fucking rifled into the top corner. His penalties, I can't think of a better adjective than violent. Çalhanoğlu's penalties are violent.
But very accurate, bro. It's like a
Accurate,
laser. He has a laser of a penalty. Like, honestly, best penalty kick taker of this generation. Like, He just simply doesn't miss them,
Probably.
bro.
Sorry, I'm about to burst out. It's my constant face right now. I don't know how we're going to finish this, but we'll move on. Çalhanoğlu, when it comes to penalties, is 10 out of 10 this season.
Madonna.
Incredible.
But do you feel like he's been the best midfielder in this Serie A campaign? Because let me just make this point clear. When it comes to being a good midfielder, I care about you playing in midfield. I care about you making the tackles, you making the passes, you setting up your teammates.
Which, to be honest, Çalhanoğlu's defensive work rate has never been something
the
under...
penalties are an asset. Having someone that you can rely on for spot kicks, you know, penalties, free kicks, corners, everything is super, super important.
It is. Of course, when
him
it comes
as a
to...
midfielder, tell me.
So in his position, in this defensive midfield position, playing as a Regis sound orchestrating play, he's obviously top 5 in the league, easily
as fuck, like top 5, like you're almost...
He's probably top 5 globally at the moment when it comes to the Regista position. Where I'm at. However, sorry, my God, when it comes to midfielders in the league in general, Coop Miners is more complete, and I would rather have him.
Yeah, and that's the point I'm trying to make about Çalhanoğlu. He's definitely been one of the best midfielders in the league and one of the best midfielders in Europe this season. However, do not let the fact that he has netted 10 penalties. You know, people often look at goals and assists to judge how a player's season has gone so far. Actually, yes, he's a very talented penalty kick taker. However, there are a lot of other Serie A midfielders that deserve a shout-out this season and in other seasons as well. Çalhanoğlu, sure, this season in particular has been brilliant because he's done a lot away from spot kicks as well. But there's just something to keep into consideration. Don't just look at the goals and assists and say, okay, definitely this guy is... player of the year. You know?
Speaking of, I have a statistic about that actually. During the 3 points for a win era, there have only been 3 occasions where an Inter midfielder hit double digits in a season. Can you guess who it was? It was the same player who did it twice since Çalhanoğlu.
Since the 3 points?
Çalhanoğlu, yes, is the third one. There was a player who did it twice.
Only one?
One player.
So it's not Wesley Sneijder.
He plays on the left, no.
Zanetti?
No, on the left midfield.
Left midfield? It's Perisic, count?
Yes,
Perisic.
Perisic got 11 goals in the 2016-2017 season and then another 11 goals in the 2017-2018 season.
He was mentioning DeMarco and Inter knew bloody well what qualities DeMarco had. And they had, at that time, Perisic, Gosens, DeMarco.
Yeah.
And obviously they had to let the others go to keep their best one without causing too much hassle.
Now Çalhanoğlu, of course, is on 13 goals, 10 of them being penalties out of 10. Violent penalties for that. Yeah, absolutely. He's having a great season. With or without the goals, he would have been having a great season.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Inter celebrated the title on Sunday after this game, right? It was pushed from Tuesday. The original celebrations were meant to be taking place on Tuesday. However, because of bad weather, they did push them ahead to Sunday. Yes, and this saw, of course, lots of chants, lots of shithousery, banter, good vibes. And of course, the one thing that stole the show was Dumfries getting a €5,000 fine, holding up a sign of himself and Theo Hernandez, and it's the Grand Theft Auto meme of the guy walking his dog. Of course, it's Dumfries walking Theo Hernandez.
I like the back and forth between Milan and Inter. It makes it a little bit human as well. It reminds us what sport is about.
It reminds us kind of what's at stake. There needs to be an element of competition between them.
It needs to be personal. And this started all in 2007 with Ambrosini's sign.
Yes.
After Inter won the Scudetto and Milan won the Champions League, shoved the Scudetto up your ass.
The Coppa Italia.
No, that time, Scudetto.
Because they won the Champions League.
Exactly. Yes. And then 2 seasons ago when Milan won the league, it was, you can shove the Coppa Italia up your ass. Now you don't even have a Coppa Italia to shove up your ass. You have nothing to shove up your ass. How unfortunate.
Fun.
But just on that note, I don't think Dumfries has ever pocketed Theo.
That's
I don't
what
think
I
he's
thought. But
ever
in the last
pocketed
few
Theo.
derbies, maybe it could be the case that he kept him quiet. I wouldn't say that
Maybe kept him quiet
he
when
was,
he was
he won
playing.
every 50-50, and that was more like a team effort to contain him, and Dumfries happened to be on his side.
Because there were occasions where I thought Darmian got the better of Theo, but I never really thought that Dumfries ever had a better showing than Theo in a derby or something of the sort. That is one of the areas
But
where...
he's obviously going to hold that. you know.
Yes, and all respect to Dumfries for doing... I almost like that he held it up, you know?
There was a bull walking the streets with Inter fans. I swear
bull?
to God, a bull.
An actual bull or Duvan Zapata?
A bull.
Okay.
In Piazza Duomo. And the logic behind it was Lautaro, El Toro, Martinez, Lautaro,
fantastic.
the bull. Therefore, they put a bull, yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so the vibes are good at Inter. They absolutely deserved this victory against Torino. The red card helped them, but it was a well-deserved red card. Yeah, so Inter managed to get another 3 points. One thing before we move on, bro. Were you surprised by Inzaghi's lack of rotation from the start? Because I was, personally.
Yes,
You've won
I
the league.
was.
What are you doing?
I was expecting to see Aslani.
Aslani, Frattesi.
Yeah, these guys.
Maran,
These guys. Especially if they're not gonna hit Juve's record, like what are you shooting for? But like playing Çalhanoğlu and he got you 2 goals, his market value must be through the roof after those 2 goals.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's true, yeah.
So I don't know. Quite surprised though, because it's a really, really good opportunity for him to go out there and play some players that could give him good squad rotation next season.
Yeah, in fact, and then in the 63rd minute he brought on Aslani, Sanchez and Frattesi, and then he brought on Buchanan in the 71st. But that was another player who should have probably started,
I
for
think
example,
so.
Buchanan.
Because
When better.
Because he comes on typically when the stakes are high and he has to do something.
Yeah.
He's never played like without pressure in that sense, Buchanan, because he's typically used as an effective sub. Like when Inter needs something, they bring on Buchanan.
Yeah.
It's interesting. They should give him a full game.
Absolutely. I'm just going to pull up the standings very quickly so we can move on from Inter. Inter are currently, of course, in first place with 89 points now. Beating Torino, who are in 10th place with 46 points.
Speaking of Buchanan, you reminded me in the Milan Juve game. Nowadays they're calling that the US Derby. And the amount of viewership that got from the US. Great for the sport. That game in particular, though, bit of a bad advert for Serie A, I would say.
I've heard this a lot. Bad advert for Serie A.
But for the people that don't enjoy the full game of football, because a lot of, no disrespect obviously to Americans, they're used to very high scoring sports.
Yes.
To say it as it is. That's why a lot of Americans find football boring, because it's low scoring. Little do they know that someone winning a 50-50, someone keeping the ball in play, someone making a goal line clearance, these are all moments we live for in football. An important tackle. So hopefully they got to see that. Hopefully they got to see the importance of having a defender like Chow pocketing Vlahovic rather than Vlahovic's doing nothing, you know.
Yeah, that's a fair point, bro. However, if you do apply a little bit of context and if you watch the game with a little bit of commentary, you'll quickly understand the situation and why it was.
Exactly. Let's jump to Atalanta 2, Empoli 0, as Atalanta once again capitalize off their adversaries.
They capitalize on their adversaries
dropping points. So obviously there was Roma dropping points to Napoli, Bologna dropping points to Udinese, and Gasperini is there rubbing his hands together as he got all 3 points against Empoli. The previous encounter was a 3-0 away victory for Atalanta. They had to rotate in this game after the Coppa Italia semi-final win over Fiorentina, and building up to the first leg of the Europa League semi-final versus Olympique Marseille. Home and Toloi were injured, while Empoli missed Berisha, Cherry, Ismaili and Ebouehi after their shock victory over Napoli. Napoli dropping some significant points against the bottom teams this season. Yeah. We all remember against Cagliari when Luvumbo got the last minute headed goal. Yeah. But anyway, 3-4-2-1 for Gasperini's men with Carnesecchi in goal and a backline of Jim City, Hien and Scalvini. Welcome back, my love. Welcome back, Scalvini. He was out injured for a while. Ruggeri out on the left and Zappa Costa out on the right, with Pasalic and Dejon forming the double pivot, with Lukman and Miranchuk flanking El Bilal Touré, who got 90 minutes in this game. Very good to see. 3-4-2-1 for Davide and Nicola's men with Caprile in goal and a backline of Berezinski, Valukovic and Luperto. Giassi on the right, Pezzella on the left and the double pivot of Grassi and Male with Fazzini and Cambiaghi playing behind Niang. So Atalanta opened the scoring, of course, because Empoli didn't score, in the 42nd minute, and it was through a penalty which Pasalic converted. They were awarded the penalty following an on-field VAR review as Pezzella mistimed the challenge on El Bilal Toure and caught him on the back of the leg. Pasalic converted despite Caprile getting quite a significant hand to the penalty. Right after half-time in the 51st minute, Ademola Lookman, who else, made it 2 for Atalanta. He gathered the ball from midfield, outmuscled Berezinski to sprint towards goal and drill into the bottom near corner. He had a similar attempt just 8 minutes later where his strike flashed just wide. But I do have to say, in the discussion of Atalanta, where it's typically, cope miners, we often talk about Scalvini, the importance of De Roon, obviously Carnesecchi as well, who came in to replace Musso. One person that typically goes under the radar, and it's not often the case with strikers that score plenty of goals.
Yeah.
Ademola Lookman has to be considered a star man for this Atalanta side.
Fair enough. Yes, I do agree with you. He is definitely a star man for this Atalanta side. His exploits do go overlooked, to be honest with you. He's a player who gets the job done more often than not.
I think in that forward line, where obviously there's De Ketelare, brilliant season. Scamacca, he's had this rebirth and he's been fantastic as well. El Bilal Toure is coming in, making a name for himself. Miranchuk is often starting up front as well for them. The most consistent forward player they have is Ademola Lookman. He is by far their most reliable player up front. You're almost guaranteed a goal for Atalanta when Ademola Lookman is starting.
Absolutely. But that goes without saying as well that Scamacca's form has been absolutely crazy.
He's
this
been
game, of
unbelievable.
course, he didn't feature, but he did feature midweek against Fiorentina,
where he
He scored a beautiful scissor kick, and his form has just come bang in time for the Euros.
Yeah, he is, and then the star man when he is on. There is no one quite like Scamacca, and like in the Euros, he's my number 9 for Italy. Yeah. Scamacca is my number 9. I've been seeing a lot of shouts for Retegui to start ahead of him. Not ahead, guys. Not ahead. You can play them alongside each other, but if it's a debate between the two, I think Scamacca has the technical abilities and the size and I think maybe Retegui smells a goal a little bit more than Scamacca.
The difference at the moment is that Retegui has found success. Therefore, the spot is his and his to lose. So Scamacca still has to earn his spot. He's obviously going to be the second choice. The second Retegui doesn't hit the ground running in a game, he'll bring on Scamacca immediately. That's what Scamacca has earned. Now he needs to earn his place with the Italian national team.
Yeah.
If Retegui doesn't get going. Yes.
Atalanta this season, so they are closing in on Roma. They're 2 points behind them with a game in hand versus Fiorentina, who they recently destroyed.
Yeah.
They're facing Marseille in the Europa League semi-finals after knocking out Liverpool. They're facing Juve in the Coppa Italia final. What I'm seeing over here is this side was Fiorentina last season, right? Just higher up in the league naturally. A lot of success for Atalanta this season, which maybe was a bit surprising considering that they've had their ups and downs in recent history under Gasperini, right? There was that season where they finished 8th and they avoided any form of Europe whatsoever. What is next for them? What do Atalanta strive for next season?
A trophy. And they're probably pushing for it right now. If they get a trophy, that's a game changer for them. Because then you can expect it to become something that is a realistic ambition. At the moment, it's still a dream for Atalanta to win a trophy, but Gasperini said that now the priority is the Europa League, when in the past he said the most realistic objective is the Coppa Italia. So they're already punching above their weight as it stands. So I think objectives-wise, they're right where they want to be.
I agree completely. This is what Gasperini, in fact, had to say after the game. At this moment, the Europa League is the objective we are holding to most tightly. said Gasperini at the end of the 2-0 victory over Empoli. We need to stay focused though. Marseille are a strong team. When talking about the Coppa Italia, he said it is the one achievable trophy and the one Atalanta have ever lifted, all the way back in 1963. That is the last time that they have won this
and the
trophy.
only time, apparently.
The only time.
Yeah.
I've never thought of being able to win the Scudetto ahead of rivals who finish with 90 or 100 points, nor of winning the Champions or Europa League. So literally what you said, he feels it is the most achievable one, and it is because he's in the final, one game against a struggling Juve. Let's go.
Yeah.
That is going to be a really, really exciting affair because it's two teams who are going to give it their absolute all. Shifting the focus to Empoli slightly, I think we've addressed Atalanta a lot, even when covering Roma and in the intro with the 2 points and this and that. Empoli, survival.
Yes.
Okay, because this loss, naturally, okay, it's a loss to Atalanta, but it does set them back. Because Udinese 18th, 29 points. Empoli, Frosinone in 17th and 16th, each on 31 points.
With Verona as well.
Also Verona.
Yeah. And then Cagliari on 32. Tight.
Yeah, so still very tight. Especially when Frosinone got points and this and that. Empoli's next game, Frosinone at home. Massive relegation 6-pointer. Massive relegation.
They have 2 games now that are going to be vital for them. It's Empoli, Frosinone, and then they have Lazio, which, okay, maybe you'd expect to not get 3 points out of, especially Lazio away. But then right after, you've got Empoli taking on Udinese away from home, and that's also going to be a massive 6-pointer. Yeah. So over there, Empoli, Frosinone, and Udinese, Empoli are going to be massive. And then they take on Roma at the end of the season as well. So Empoli have 2 6-pointers and then 2 Roman teams to play against.
So Roma's their last game of the season. So how come earlier it told me that the last game of the season for Milan is against Roma? That's probably that would be a friendly. I made a mistake earlier. I think on the 31st of May. Is it? Yep, it's a friendly. It's a very early friendly.
Weird to have that organized and set already. And then look at that, Man City.
Crazy. But yeah, apologies for that. It was a mistake earlier. Milan's last game of the season is against Salernitana, which is much better for Milan, obviously. Yeah. So Empoli's chances for survival are slim. I genuinely favor Frosinone's chances over Udinese and Empoli at the moment.
Really? Why?
I do think that Frosinone, when it comes to the smaller teams, so we've seen where they struggle against the more experienced teams. It's because they go attack, they score 1 or 2, and then defensively they're either tired or vulnerable or whatever, with gaping holes in their defense. However, when facing the smaller teams, keep in mind, this is the same Frosinone that killed everyone in Serie B last season. I believe they can overpower a lot of these teams simply by being the first to the ball, by going into every 50-50 and giving it their 100%, and by grabbing those early goals and then holding the fort without attacking too much.
So yes, I do understand your point. And looking at the fixtures, they have favourable ones, meaning that the ball is in their court right now. Frosinone, they have Empoli away from home, followed by Inter at home. Which, okay, you never know what's going to turn up with.
What was the first one? Sorry, of course, Empoli.
The first one was Empoli. Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
And then
Inter, and then they've got Monza away, and then finally the last match of the season, they've got Udinese at home. So the ball is definitely in their court, and their fixtures are slightly easier than Empoli's.
Udinese have a very big say, because they play a lot of these bottom teams. They have a massive say.
They really do. It's tight, man. I'm not comfortable giving a prediction, to be honest.
I can't, because at this point we're giving a prediction.
And I'm going to stick to just what I said earlier. No, that Frosinone, Sassuolo, Salernitana are the teams that go down. I'm going to stick to that. We'll see. Maybe it's wishful thinking.
Some I said I think Udinese are going down. I think I said Udinese, Sassuolo, Salernitana, and they're actually the bottom 3 at the moment. It's a toss-up, man. It is quite literally a toss-up. This is the beauty of the league, because it could be Verona as well. They have some tough fixtures coming up. Yeah. So it's more about, I think, the fixtures rather than the quality of the team.
Verona have Salernitana left.
Ooh, massive 3 points.
In theory.
Massive 3 points for them.
But you never know. The ball's round.
They can do it though. Atalanta are in 6th on 57 points, 2 points behind Roma with the game in hand. Whilst Empoli 17th on 31 points, level with 16th place Frosinone and 15th place Verona, 1 behind 14th place Cagliari, and just 2 ahead of Udinese in 18th place.
Bologna took on Udinese at home and the score was 1-1. In the reverse fixture, Udinese actually won this one 3-0 and the goals came from Piero, Lucca and Pereira. So for this game, Bologna started with a 4-1-4-1 that did not include Calafiori or
Very
Solini.
interesting.
Very weird, yes. Skorupski was in goal with Posch on the right and Christensen on the left, with Beukema and Lukumi as a centre-back partnership. Freuler playing right in front of them with Dan Ndoye on the right, Salamakers on the left with El Azouzi and Abisher playing behind Joshua Zirkzee. For Udinese, it was a 3-4-2-1 formation with Okoye in goal, Christensen, Biol and Perez at the back with Cannavaro on the left, Eusebui on the right, Piero and Wallace in the middle with Pereira and Samardzic playing behind Lucca. How would you pronounce his name?
Ezebue.
Ezebui.
We've said it 1,000 times. Every week we say it.
But now I realize his name's Kingsley.
Kingsley.
Ezebui. So yes, Bologna have confirmed European qualification.
Right, so I'm just gonna... Massive.
We don't know if it's going to be the Europa League, if it's going to be the Champions League. Let's hope it's the Champions League, but we are not sure yet in theory.
I know.
You know?
I know.
Champions League.
I know it's Champions League.
Yeah, it's been 22 years since they last played in Europe, and that last time they played 22 years ago, I looked into it, it was the Intertoto Cup.
That's what it was called? That's what the Champions League was called?
No. It's the Intertoto Cup. It was a separate European league invented. There were only 3 occasions, I believe, that this cup was played, from what I've read. They lost to Fulham on this occasion, and fun fact, Christian Zaccardo was playing at the back for Bologna.
Oh my
and
god.
Edwin van der Sar was in goal for Fulham.
Of course.
Yes.
When he was young, he was at Fulham and then Juve.
And this Bologna side actually had Giuseppe Signori leading the line, called hero over there.
Yeah.
There have been 3 winners of the Intertoto Cup, or there were 3 winners because the cup no longer exists: Fulham, Malaga, and Stuttgart. So you can imagine.
My God, is this a cup of bad teams? Like?
Yes, essentially. And before that, it was the UEFA Cup that they had qualified in the 90s.
I remember the Europa League as the UEFA Cup.
Yes, same.
But I remember speaking to someone that didn't like football, and I said UEFA Cup, and they're like, "Whoa!" I'm like, "What? Like you fuck up?" So like it makes.
So
sense.
they had to change.
They had to change it, no, because it had fuck up in the name.
Yeah.
And I remember I got confused when it said Toto Cup, like the Champions League, because before the Champions League was called the Cup Winners' Cup. It was a bit of a different competition because it was just the winners kind of thing. But yeah.
Absolutely, yes. Football changes very frequently.
Hopefully it won't be the Super League anytime soon.
Udinese took a surprise lead just before halftime when Martin Piero tapped in a deflected shot from Lucca after Freuler had lost possession while Bologna were playing out of the back. Unlike him, yes. This was Piero's first goal since the reverse fixture. So yeah,
love a good storyline.
He's got it out for Bologna. Lucca was late to the far post on a free kick. It would have been an easy tap-in had he committed his run. And that brings us to the second half, where Bologna's hopes were dampened further when Beukema received a second yellow card for a foul on Samardzic on the break. Despite being down a player, Bologna managed to equalise through an audacious lobbed free kick by Salamakers, catching Udinese's goalkeeper Okoye, of course, off his line. Was that intentional? We've already discussed that probably it wasn't, but he'll take it, and he did celebrate rather coldly.
Yeah.
Salamakers went on to miss 2 decent chances after by shooting when he had teammates open. Of course, his confidence was through the roof. He should have played at least one of those chances. His teammates were so frustrated.
That's what you get with Salamakers.
That's it.
That's what you get with him.
Davis at the end for Udinese came on and hit the post at the end of the game. Brenner couldn't connect to the rebound effectively, and that was it. The spoils were shared.
Confidence and momentum is a hilarious thing in football because it makes you forget the assignment. You look at Milan, I forgot against whom they were playing when they were 2-0 down. Managed to get a 2-2 with a man down recently.
Bologna. Recently?
No, recently.
Not the Pasalic one, so.
No. No. This season, Milan were down. It wasn't Sassuolo.
I can't remember.
And Milan, after they got the equalizer, they went to attack and they conceded.
Okay, good. All right. I can't remember the team, but I definitely remember the game. Yes, absolutely.
I really want to remember who it was
Brutal,
against.
yes.
Man, it wasn't Empoli, it wasn't Cagliari, it wasn't Lecce, it wasn't Genoa. Monza.
Monza, yes.
And then
absolutely.
Maldini.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the whole drama at the end when Milan were pushing for the victory.
Colombo.
With Pulisic coming on and turning it around.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it's a hilarious thing because it makes you forget the assignment. No, so Salamakers over there. Understand that you are a man down. Like, and
you need to win.
You need to
you
win.
need a goal, yes.
So don't try a shot.
It's not your moment. You've had your moment.
You see like Udinese and then catch them off guard. They hit the post. You're lucky they hit the post there, man.
Absolutely. And it was a very good chance as well.
Yeah.
Bologna have drawn to Frosinone, Monza and Udinese and beaten Roma convincingly halfway through that. So what's going on with them against the likes of these lowly teams like Frosinone and Udinese and even Monza?
We know. Frosinone, Udinese, fighting survival.
Absolutely.
They're gonna use every trick in the book to win. They don't care if it's clean. They don't care if it's dirty. Something about Bologna, right? So I don't care that Motta left out players like Orsolini and Calafiori. Why? No, but he's only playing one game a week. I don't care. You can rotate. You can catch a team off guard. You can rest players. You can bring them on at fresh legs when the other team is exhausted because they're going to press you. So I don't care for that. However, they're a team that relies a lot on trusting their teammates. So they will play the pass to you even if you've got two players on you, right? And you see sometimes with a team that's battling relegation and their press is incredibly high, they can catch you out. You see it happen to Freuler in this game, for example. So in those cases, against the bigger teams, Roma, they're not going to go into that unnecessary kind of 50-50. They're going to preserve their energy, they're going to win the ball cleanly, and then they're going to go on the counter, or they would rather build the play up from the back.
Or it might be as simple as the game's more open because they're actually pushing for it as well.
Could be as well.
More holes in the back.
The Roma game is a bad example because it was a do or die 6-pointer for Europe.
And there was so much space in the back for Bologna to operate, man. With their passes in the final third, they're so good that there was against a low block. They struggled a little bit, and we've seen that come out a bit. Yeah. Absolutely. So I think the next thing we can talk about, this is the first time that Salamakers has scored in back-to-back matches. We can say that Cannavaro's his full debut, was quite impressive.
Yeah.
Compact defense.
Got a man sent
caused
off.
Bologna a few problems going forward.
Yeah.
High press, counter play, very nice. The only issue now is that Udinese, they know how to draw. Cioffi was a professional at drawing. They need to win. They need to win a game to get them a little bit of
They have their opportunities coming up. They can do it, Udinese. They're probably the team that can do it the most because they've still got a lot of...
And they're the best team.
Probably.
On paper, in theory. Yes.
Nguyen Perez, Jaka Bijol and Thomas Christensen must be thrilled that Cannavaro is watching them every training session now. Talk about a 5'9" defender winning headers over 6'2" strikers like his entire career.
It's true.
Brilliant defender to learn from.
It's a nice little young team Udinese have together over there. If you think about it, not many players are actually over 24 in that lineup.
It's true.
It's quite a young project.
Pereira is on the older side.
So there has been a bit of a transition in Udinese's philosophy lately, where it's more than just having these established kind of mid-table players. They're building towards the future. It would be a shame for them to get relegated now when the future is looking bright because they'll lose everyone.
That's true. That's true. No, and they're one of the teams with an actual project. Yes. You look at, we've often said Frosinone's entire squad is loaned.
Yeah.
So like, what's the point?
Absolutely.
And we brought up a funny thing. We said like last time that if Frosinone go down to B, going straight back up to A or to A, because they have all the utilities to blow these teams out of the water. However, their players are going to go back from the loan. That's an interesting thing to look at.
It's more like the club philosophy, I think. The fact that they're quite advanced.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see.
Orsolini had a nice moment with his grandma after the game.
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't know if you saw it. Yes. And now one thing to address is from last game when El Azzurri scored that fantastic goal.
This.
Yes, it's bad, but it's funny. It's funny because the Italians simply don't get it. They don't get it. They don't understand. Basically, they gathered together at the piazza in Bologna after the victory, and they started chanting songs for El Azzurri, right? Because of the fantastic worldie he scored against Roma. I'm going to play you the chant right now. I don't know. Should I play it?
Play it.
Let's go.
If you find it.
I found it, yes. Let's go.
Care to translate?
Yes, so the translate over here is El Azzurri can be found in San Donato, which is
Piazza.
a square in Bologna, selling cigarettes for €5, while he's also our goal scorer. El Azzurri apparently
there's obviously a lot of cultural appropriation
along to it, yes, but it just comes to a point here where you can you not be racist?
Because
there's not be racist.
There's significant like I'm glad, I guess, that El Azzurri saw the fun side of it and enjoyed it.
They obviously mean it in the best way possible. That's the thing. But it comes to a lack of education at this point.
That's it.
And it stems from the top. If their anti-racism campaign a few years ago was a bunch of monkeys right next to each other, you can't expect much, can you?
Yeah.
You know, like we're all the same and it's monkeys in different colors. Are you mental? What are you trying to say right now?
Crazy, man, crazy. I find the chant strange. Like I already said, cultural appropriation at its finest. We know what they're saying, man.
Yeah.
I'm just glad he sees the fun side of it, and he can be seen there celebrating with the fans.
He was dancing along to it, so thankfully he took it well. And as long as he takes it well, in reality, I'm not going to be offended for you.
But then we could also open up the other argument of what are his native countrymen going to think about that? Are they going to think
that he's encouraging a negative stereotype?
Exactly, yes. Making a mug of them. I don't know. It's really not for me to step in and say
absolutely. Even though
people of a different culture,
our bloodline is Egyptian, so this technically offends us directly.
I'm incredibly offended by it, to be honest. I'm in San Donato.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was pretty much it. Hard fought point for Bologna. Could have gone terribly wrong for them, but a stroke of luck through the magic foot of Alexis Salamakers earned them a point, as they are in 4th with 63 points, while Udinese are in 18th with 29 points.
So next one is Fiorentina 5, Sassuolo 1. Shambolic display by Sassuolo over here, and promising things by Fiorentina whilst rotating the squad. Good to see by them. The previous encounter was a victory for Sassuolo. 1-0.
Wow.
Hilarious.
Who scores? Boom, on the spot.
Boom, I don't know. Fiorentina were stretched quite thin by their packed fixture list, coming off the 4-1 Coppa Italia semi-final defeat to Atalanta and leading up to the first leg of the Europa League semi-final against Club Brugge. Sassuolo obviously in real trouble, sitting in the penultimate place with Lauriante suspended, Castillejo, Berardi, Defrel and Marcus Pedersen all out injured.
Yeah, so Defrel's joined that list. I think he took a knock last game, right?
Yeah. It's a 4-2-3-1 formation for Fiorentina with Christensen in goal, Coyote on the right, Parisio on the left, and Ranieri and Martinez Quarta forming the back four. Duncan and Arthur in the double pivot, Sotil out on the left, Icona out on the right, and Barak playing behind Kwame. So a lot of changes to the starting 11. For Sassuolo, it was a 4-4-1-1 formation. Cool. Consigli in goal and a backline of Ruan, Tressoldi, Kumbulla, Ferrari and Viti. Midfield four of Volpato, Boloca, Obiang and Doig, with Tordsvet playing behind Pinamonti. So in the 17th minute, Sotil opened the scoring. Tresoldi gave him far too much time and space to cut inside and slot the ball into the bottom far corner. In the 30th minute, Parisi whacked the crossbar with a powerful strike. That was all in the first half. So most of the action came in the second half, where in the 54th, Quarta scored a header after Arthur's early cross. 3 minutes later, Thordsvet pulled one back for Sassuolo after some good play by Sassuolo, which ended in Doig playing through Thordsvet, who smashed the ball past Christensen. Just 1 minute later, and then Sotil's cross seemed to hit the back of the net with no contact, but Nico got a marginal touch with his head, and it did go down as his goal, making it 3-1 to Fiorentina. 4 minutes later, Barak made it 4. Sotil was crowded but snuck through a pass to Barak, who finished cleanly. And just 4 minutes later, again in the 66th, Nico got another one where Barak assisted once again as he received the ball from Nico, returned it to him with a dangerous square ball, and the Argentine finished without issue. A great showing for a lot of these Fiorentina players that typically perhaps don't get game time, don't get recognized a lot. So Barak with 1 goal and 1 assist in this game.
Low socks, high short season, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sotil with 1 goal and 2 assists in this game. Nico, we all know his qualities, 2 goals. Arthur with 2 assists. What do you think the plans are for Barak? Because he's been left out for 2 seasons essentially, and now he's starting to get more game time.
I think he has finally. He's probably. I'm not sure if it was the case that he wasn't working hard enough, and now he got his shit together, or if it's the result of hard work over the past 2 seasons, of course, because I'm not with him every bloody weekend. But every single. But recently with Barak, it's been the case that he has looked like he's rediscovered something in his game. He looks more like he did towards the latter stages with Verona. He's playing with confidence. He's creative. He's actually getting a chance. He proved himself in Europe in a lower in an easier game than these ones, to be honest with you. But now, Italiano's given him the go ahead to start in a Serie A clash, and he's performed very well. So I think he's fought hard to earn his place in this team, and I think he will continue to fight.
At least he's
Maybe
in the
if a
equation.
good offer comes in, they wouldn't hesitate to let him go. But as it stands, I highly doubt an offer will come in for a player who's kind of woken up towards the end of a season.
Speaking of good offers, United aren't going to buy Amrabat, right? Why? Because he went in, he's been shit. Kobe Mainoo has been fantastic for them. Amrabat is definitely going back to Fiorentina. Now, if Fiorentina tried to sell him, firstly, Fiorentina got fucked because they accepted a loan deal with an option after his World Cup season where his value was through the roof. They could have sold him for 50
But I believe
million.
there was an initial fee that United had to pay. So they still managed to get like 20 million out of it.
Great. They could have made more. They could have made more.
Yeah.
For sure. I would have made more.
But
by
20
selling
million
him.
instantly for a loan is pretty good as well, though. Granted, yes, I know what you mean, though.
They could have made 50.
Yes.
They could have made 50 from selling him. So they're fucked because they get him back. His market value, because essentially the market value of footballers is run by the English Premier League nowadays, has shot down significantly. Now, are Fiorentina going to sell him immediately or try to reintroduce him back into the squad? What do you think?
So Amrabat's situation is particularly strange because he's cut ties with the Fiorentina faithful.
Yeah.
They've fallen out completely. However, of course, business always takes priority over anything else, and the fans' reputation with the player can be fixed with performances on the pitch. Amrabat is 27 years old. Fiorentina know how to deploy him. They know how to get the best out of him. I don't think that many offers would come in for him that would be attractive to Fiorentina, so I do think they will try to rehabilitate him.
I think
and
so
reintegrate
too.
him into the squad.
Another loan isn't a terrible idea. Another loan, because that's
Maybe
the only way you
to a
can
lower
get
side,
rid of him. Like you put if you make the option to buy significant enough, then you deplete some kind of risk over there. Like I do see Amrabat working with a Milan.
I don't know. To be honest, right now, yes.
Let's
because
not
Milan
forget
need
his
a ball winner,
qualities.
yes.
Maybe he's not cut out for the Prem. maybe he's not cut out.
No,
over there.
I don't think he was managed well at United, to be honest, because we've seen him at Verona, Fiorentina, and the Morocco national team, where he was very, very, very good.
Unplayable.
Yes.
Unplayable.
Maybe not as much at Fiorentina, but at Hellas and with Morocco,
He
he's
had a
an
fantastic.
animal. He's an
two
animal.
great seasons
Yes.
at Fiorentina, bro. 2 great seasons.
Not great. He always looked to be a little bit shakier than when he was at Verona with Fiorentina. A
The
little bit less
season
reliable.
leading up to the World Cup at Fiorentina, I fucking really liked him, man. I thought he was really clean.
fair
I was
enough, fair
surprised. His tackling, no question. I was surprised how good he was with the ball at his feet as well. I thought he had a good season.
Fair enough, yes. Good, I agree. For me, not as great as the Verona one, but we can agree to disagree. Yes, I do think they'll reintegrate him, though. What do you think?
I think they can try, because obviously if he has a bad relationship, a lot of, keep in mind, this is an Italian team. And the Italians find it hard to forgive at times. These are the Italian clubs. Vincenzo Italiano might have something to say.
But look, if he, apologizes to the fans, touches the badge a bit, gives his all in a game or two, in 3-4 games you can start to, you notice the whistles have started to decrease. You can't boo a player who's giving his all.
It won't make sense to sell him now, because if they sell him now, they'll make
Absolutely.
15 million.
Yes,
and that's not enough for a player of his qualities.
I agree.
So at 27 years old, he's in the prime of his career, and he's a very talented footballer. If they're going to sell him, though, they'll probably need to stick locally. Or maybe to, if he has a great season, they could attempt to sell him to the French league, like a PSG or something of the sort. But to the Prem, I think his reputation is absolutely tarnished over there, because he showed not only zero, but negative.
Yeah.
He showed negative of what he
To
can
be
do.
fair, they started playing him as a fullback, and then when they popped him in midfield, his confidence was so shot that he was just losing the ball.
To be fair, it's hard to settle into a club that are constantly in crisis,
Yes,
constantly in crisis,
constantly.
always.
United are crazy right now. If you've got any friends who support United, give them a hug and check up on them regularly.
Literally. But it's good to see Fiorentina continuing their momentum from last year, as progressing in cups. Like I said earlier, there's no shame in losing to Atalanta in a semi-final when you're a man down after winning the first leg. It happens. They're advancing in conference once again. Hopefully this season they can win conference and not just finish second by losing to West Ham in the final. So that's all well and good for Fiorentina. Sassuolo, on the other hand, I root for them to get relegated. Not I root for them to get relegated. I think they're getting relegated, right? But you look at their final few fixtures, and they've got 2 that really pique my interest. So firstly, they play Inter at home. The reverse fixture was a win for Sassuolo, but shut up, Matt. What are you saying? They don't beat Inter.
We don't know, because they have, and against teams from Milan, they do better. They held Milan 3-3 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Then they have Genoa away. It's not impossible. It's not outside the realm of possibilities that they get something out of that game. A little bit tough.
Very tough.
Genoa are very good.
They're cut above the rest now, Genoa, when it comes to that bottom side of the table.
Genoa might actually get it down with 10 players. Then they have Cagliari. And Cagliari can often look very human in games. And you know what I mean. They don't have superstars. They have fucking me and you on
against
form.
Genoa on Monday night.
Exactly. They can look very human. And Sassuolo, they have towards Vet Lauriante and these guys, Bayrami, that can stun. So if they do it well, that could possibly be a very important 3 points with just 1 game to go, and then they go away to Lazio. So I'm not going to ask you for a prediction again, just giving some context. Fiorentina in 8th place on 50 points, level on points with Napoli in 9th. However, Fiorentina do have that game in hand against Atalanta, while Sassuolo 19th on 26 points. They are 5 points from safety. Empoli on 31 points in 17th.
Absolutely. So Lazio took on Hellas Verona at home, and it was quite a tough game for them, of course, naturally, with the way Hellas Verona have been playing and the fact that Lazio have recently undergone a few changes. The lineup for Lazio was Mandas in goal, replacing Provedel, and benching Sepe, by the way, because Lazio, I'm pretty sure, have Sepe on the bench.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Provedel's back, by the way, so that's something I would like to ask you. Has Mandas proven himself enough?
No.
No, right? Provedel obviously.
That is just not at 100% yet.
Yes. He did well, Mandas, take nothing away from him, but of course Provedel is the
Provedel
holder of that
one
position.
of the top goalkeepers in the league.
Patrick Romagnoli and Tresale were at
Sorry,
the back.
are you sure he's back? Because it does say he's out over here.
No, he was out for this game. He's back for the next one.
Okay.
So Patrick, Romagnoli and Tresale were at the back with Isaksen and Marisic on the flanks, with Kamada and Guendouzi in the middle, Felipe Anderson and Luis Alberto playing behind Castellanos in the last dance. For Verona, it was a 4-4-2 formation, flat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Montepò in goal with Cabal and Chachua as the fullbacks, with Coppola and Maniani as the centre-back duo, with Lazovic and Mitrovic as the wide men, with Serdar and Folorunshaw playing in the middle. Zviderski and Tiani Noslin started up front together.
We haven't really seen that before, eh?
Never.
Zviderski and Noslin up front together.
It's usually one or the other. So Lazio and Verona both had opportunities in the first half, with Isaksen coming close for Lazio, but being denied by a good reaction save from Montepò. To be honest, he should have done better there. Isaksen, he had a good angle to strike from. He should have hit the shot to the left or to the right of the keeper, not directly at him. Felipe Anderson and Luis Alberto had chances for Lazio, but their efforts were either thwarted or missed the target. Mandas rushed out to punch across, and the ball fell to Zviderski, who had an empty net in a difficult situation, but unfortunately did not find or have the technique to convert that opportunity. In the second half, Lazio continued to press for a goal, with Montepò making a fingertip save onto the crossbar to deny Felipe Anderson's powerful rocket from outside the box. Kamada squared it to Pedro beautifully at one point to get him 1v1, and he failed to hit the target. Guendouzi played Castellanos through 1v1, and his shot was central and relatively easy to save from Montepò.
Yeah, his finishing, Tati,
his
man.
finishing isn't good.
Leaves
Tati,
a lot to be desired, huh?
And then Zaccagni, who's recently renewed his contract with Lazio and has recently come back from injury, scored a decisive goal after robbing the ball from Suslov and exchanging passes with Luis Alberto, firing in from close range. Verona had a chance to equalise late on into the game, but there was a remarkable reaction save from Mandas, who parried a close-range effort under the bar. Pedro hit the post with a free kick, and then at the end, Henry skied a good opportunity that he should have totally hit the target with.
Yeah, look, Verona, to me, they could have gotten more out of this game. I think they had a decent-ish amount of opportunities to have a say in this game. Sure, they had one shot on target, but they did a really good job of staying in the equation. Obviously, in a game
That's
like
what
this,
they do, man.
It's not like a game against like the bottom 10 teams where Verona are always lively, and you see them down 2-0 against Atalanta and they get one back. You see them against the bottom 6. They're always able to get points out of those games. It's rare that they drop points on those occasions. But in this game, 4-4-2. We're up against Lazio. You know the drill, guys. Hold the fort. Make sure that they don't get too many chances. Try hit them on the break. I think from a game plan perspective, they did a good job for 90 minutes. They only let one of those in, unfortunately, and then their counterattacks weren't too successful. But they did, I think, they did a decent job over here.
They did. They conceded quite a bit, to be honest. If Lazio were efficient with their chances, this could have been much worse. But maybe they threw them off, you know. That could always be the case, and they definitely stayed in it, and they could have equalised at the end through Henry had he not panicked before his shot.
Yeah.
So Zaccagni came back from injury and won it for them. The man who's recently signed the contract, very good good sign for Lazio over there. Bodes well for the future. When it seems that everyone's future is up in the air, you don't know anything about Tudor, if Tudor is going to stay. Apparently, by the way, there's been an update. Lotito wants Tudor and offered him the contract.
Okay.
But Tudor wants to see what they do in the summer. He wants to see how serious the project is. He
fair
knows that
enough,
Felipe Anderson and Luis Alberto are out. Kamada, the future is uncertain around him. Immobile, the future is uncertain around him. How is the club going to react? Tudor is going to see what they do, and then he'll sign the contract.
Okay, so that involves a bit of a project in place. Look, this is our 3-year plan. This is our 4-year plan. This is where we want to be. Hopefully, Tudor can be a part of that conversation as well. I always like that. I always like involving the manager a little bit in that kind of conversation. Look, it's what do you
pivotal.
think the team needs? You're there with them every fucking day. You're the one looking at them closely.
It shouldn't be any other way, unless your coach just wants to buy 34-year-old players.
But you know how it is, bro. A lot of players are signed for marketability. They're signed for business. You often see that football is a bit of a business for some people. I love the fans that become owners, man. And thankfully, man, this new breed of American ownership in Italy, they're fans, man. They're fans. You see Jerry Cardinale and co, for example. I do feel like they have the team's best interest at heart, and it's not business-y.
So far, it seems to be the case that these Americans have been quite... these American owners, not these Americans, of course. These American owners.
These people from America.
These Americans. They have come in and they've been really respectful to the club's identity, the culture, the philosophy overall. They've been super respectful.
And they bring in a decent amount. They bring in a decent amount. Of course, they love Fiorentina recently losing their owner, and they were distraught about it. Like, I think. As Milan fan so far, I can only say
he was not the owner.
Apologies. So far as a Milan fan, I can only say good things about the previous two owners, American owners that Milan have had, two American hedge funds that have come in and invested good money in Milan, kept the project in mind, liaised with Maldini, with Zlatan, with these guys, making it happen.
We'll see. The Redbird have been a little bit different when it comes to the way they handled the Maldini situation. I think was a little bit like read
over
the room.
There, they didn't really care about the culture.
Not at all. And in fact, I think that would be the one that sticks out the most when it comes to failing to read the room.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
However, overall, it does seem to be the case, though, that they're adapting nicely to Italy. Another point, bro, Kamada has been playing really well. He's playing him deeper. He's playing him in midfield. He's playing great.
These past 3-4
games.
Let's say 3-4 games, he's looked a little bit better. He's looked a bit happier
and more involved.
Yeah, that's it.
Lazio, as we mentioned earlier, are getting the best of both worlds at the moment. Tudor is experimenting with the team. He's playing with it. He's seeing what he has available, while they're still getting results.
Yeah.
So that's the most important thing for them, that they remain in the contention for a European spot. But yeah, it's nice to see as well that Tudor is figuring the team out.
They have a good lead over Fiorentina, assuming that they don't get 3 points against Atalanta. I personally, I can safely say I'll put a bet on it. Let's put it that way. They're on 50 points, Lazio on 55 in 7th place. Lazio have a good advantage for Europa League football over there, considering 7th are getting Europa League football now. Yeah. I do fancy Lazio's chances of being in the Europa League next season.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me at all the way things are going. There's 3 wins in a row. They've got momentum. 3 Serie A wins in a row. One last thing, Luis Alberto was wanted by Marseille on a free. That might be an interesting
not
step
the move I'm expecting.
No, not at all.
I think he can, no disrespect to Marseille, I think he can do better than that.
We'll see. Marseille, like a tactically intelligent player, a flashy player.
Yeah, of course he'll be an asset to them.
But yeah, Fiorentina are currently in 8th with 50 points. Why am I saying Fiorentina? I've got Fiorentina up here. Lazio, 1 second. So Lazio are in 7th with 55 points, while Hellas Verona are down in 15th with 31 points. So that was a train wreck. If you notice, we took it easy from the wine, guys. If you're watching, we haven't had a sip for the past 40 minutes because it was getting bad. I wanted to stop and compose ourselves.
To take a break. Workers' Day. Lit.
The best day ever.
We really weren't planning to drink. We're about to start. Jake, you have wine in the fridge. Shall I bring a bit of wine? Yeah, bring the wine. It was a train wreck the first half of the podcast. Frosinone 3, Salernitana 0. Frosinone. Sule's dream is to play for Real Madrid. They looked like Real Madrid when they're up against Salernitana, because Salernitana, unfortunately, are a catastrophe this season. Frosinone 3, Salernitana 0. The previous encounter was a 1-1 draw, where Salernitana were at home. Salernitana, following this game, are officially the first team relegated this season. This is my hope. Back to the drawing board. They have a great fan base, good culture. They have strengths in their team. Work on them. Let's see them back in 2 seasons' time.
Yeah.
They maybe don't have the biggest facilities to go down and kill everyone in
They don't
but
at
they
all.
have the hustle, they have the fan base. Let's see them, even if it takes 2-3 seasons, let's see them back in Serie A. There's a place for them in my heart and a place for them in that top 20.
And in your ass as well. With Salernitana, man, one of the things they're going to regret the most is not cashing in on Boulaye Dia.
Absolutely.
He's now going down. Like,
Absolutely.
you have to sell him for peanuts.
Absolutely. For a team like that, if you have a star player of his caliber, sell.
If he doesn't
Make
want
40
to be
million.
there, immediately out.
Exactly.
Don't bother fighting for
Get
him. Yeah.
fucking 40. Look what Verona did with little cash. Just get people that are willing to prove a point. These, you see the names in Verona's team. Like, who are these guys?
Yeah.
Tiani Noslin and all that. But it's good business, and that's what you could do with 40 million, with 50 million, the amount Wolverhampton were offering for Boulaye Dia.
Yeah.
Do it. He's not gonna he's gonna get you Europe next year? No. Sell him, make money, flip, and all that.
Get people who want to be there.
Exactly.
Not suddenly you don't have the money and you don't have the striker. You end up with nothing.
Yeah. 3-4-1-2 for Frosinone. Turati in goal, backline of Okoli, Romagnoli and Lirola. Valerio on the left, Zortea on the right, double pivot of Mazzitelli and Berincea, with Brescianini playing behind Khedira and Soule. 5-3-2 for Salernitana. Costil in goal, and the backline of Sambia, Pierozzi, Fazio, Pirola and Bradaric. It's a lot of defenders. Koulibaly, Basic and Vignato in midfield, with Chuana and Ikwemezi up front. In the 10th minute, Frosinone got their first goal as Sambia clumsily brought down Valeri off the ball, leading to a penalty. Soule stepped up and netted his 5th penalty of the season. In the 25th minute, a brilliant counter-attack by Frosinone ended with Brescianini finishing past Costil after a chipped pass by Valeri. There was a player grounded over here for Salernitana, but no drama. Now, everyone, including the commentator, thought that Salernitana got one back through Gomis. But this one will go down as a phantom goal. That's what they're calling it, the phantom goal. In reality, Gomis missed an absolute sitter.
Yeah.
A sitter. But the way that the ball connected with the bar that is behind the post and hit the back of the net after that made it look like a clear goal. We're like, oh, Salernitana have got one back. Commentators saying Salernitana have got one back. What the fuck is happening? Why do they look disappointed?
Listen to the Italian commentator, okay? When that happened. So Salernitana back in the game.
Yeah.
And then he realized it wasn't. It's hilarious. Look at that. Four. It's out.
This reminded me of Sterling's strike against Italy in the World Cup of 2014, where the scoreboard of BBC even changed to 1-0.
Wow.
They changed it. There was goal. The scoreboard disappeared, replaced with goal, a replay being shown, and 1-0 to England over there. I don't know if you guys remember that. We're watching that game. We're still very young. That was 2014. But what I do remember watching it at a bar in Slema. 85th minute, Zortea, cherry on top of the cake for Frosinone, and what a fucking goal it was by Zortea. He carried the ball forward and slotted the ball into the bottom corner from outside the box with, obviously, way too much time and space.
Yeah. Which tends to be the theme now with the Salernitana side.
Yeah. I want to make this point about Frosinone. You see the bottom 6 teams in Serie A. Let's have a look at them, right? Salernitana, 4th manager of the season. Sassuolo, 2nd manager of the season. Udinese, 3rd manager of the season. Empoli, 2nd or 3rd. I think it might be. I think it might be third. I'm not sure. I need to fact check that. Verona as well. Okay, Cagliari have kept the same manager throughout. Lecce have had one new manager in the season. But my point is, Frosinone, for a team that have been battling relegation and who have significantly struggled in one area, they're like, look, defensively, shit, they've really stuck by Di Francesco. And it's not like Di Francesco, much like Ranieri for Cagliari, brought them up. Because it was Grosso that brought Frosinone
but
up
he
from
started
B.
the season with a bang. Frosinone had a great start to the season until they were figured out.
That's true.
And now it seems that he's concluding it with an improvement as well, because look how many draws he's got. It's been what, 4 games since they've lost? 5 games. 5 games ago they lost a game, Frosinone, which is very uncharacteristic of how they've been lately.
Yeah.
So maybe they're giving him they're trusting him with a full season. Risky.
It's risky.
Very risky.
It's just everyone was saying he's going to be the first manager out, Di Francesco, and historically, he typically does tend to be a sackable manager. Let's put it that way.
But he also found crazy success with Sassuolo, so clearly there's something there.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see how kind of he managed to tighten things up at the back towards the end of the season. It's just a shame that they managed to drop off so hard after their great start of the season. But that tends to be the case, as we saw with Lecce. We've seen it with Udinese as well. Teams have a great start and then suddenly just start free falling down into the relegation.
Benevento was perhaps one of the craziest ones I've seen. Benevento, I think that was their owner, one of the directors, whatever, the manager, told them, you're not getting on the team bus.
Yes, what was that? They made them walk?
Made them walk, bro. They got on public transport, booked taxis. It was a whole thing.
I doubt anyone got on public transport.
Yeah, they probably got a taxi. They're probably like, hi, can we get a bus? But yeah, I just find that very impressive by Frosinone to show that much faith. They're out of the relegation zone for the first time in a while with 4 matches to go. Not going to go into the who do you think is going to get relegated once again. But Salernitana, unfortunately, first team relegated. Simple question. What is your favourite Salernitana memory?
My favourite Salernitana memory by far it's Boulaye scoring.
Yes.
And the speaker coming on and just do and all the fans.
Honestly,
that's the best one. I liked the Pink Floyd tifo that they had. I also enjoyed the season where they were down and out that we actually covered, and all of a sudden they brought in Nicola and he saved them.
By far the best.
That's the best moment.
The most iconic Nicola one as well. He's had great ones, but that to me is the one. You know how we say weekly bye-bye to Salernitana? We were doing that in season 1.
Yeah.
And they
lived.
Shocked everyone, man.
Yeah. And
with Ribéry on the bench.
And another favourite moment of mine was when they actually got promoted and the fans went out and just trashed everything within sight as well. I'm like, okay, welcome. You guys are hard. We're going to like covering you. We're going to enjoy it. And it was the case. Great memories.
Great songs as well. They have the Bella Ciao version.
Oh, lovely.
Amazing. One of the best curvas that I've seen in Serie A. Honestly, amazing. Now, curvas, I say amazing curva, they typically tend to be more assholey.
Oh yes, rougher,
individuals.
I mean, that's just how it goes,
Rougher, but I judge them from a supporting their team and fan perspective. So if you tell me, this one's been charged with this and this, I don't know about that, because I've recently heard a lot of criticism about Italian culture with curvas, so on and so forth.
I mean, you get the best of both. It's just bad to generalize. That's it. You get good people and bad people everywhere in the world, no matter what you're looking at. Yes.
Jake with a life lesson.
Just a dollop of wisdom for you over here, guys.
Dollop of mayonnaise. What? Frosinone are in 16th on 31 points, while Salernitana, bye Salernitana, my fucking loves. Down and out, last 15 points.
You sound so sad.
It is sad, watching
It is
Salernitana
sad,
get relegated.
And
It
even
came,
I love
it
the way
came.
they operated in the market as well, bringing in players that you would never dream of seeing in Italy or in Serie A.
But weird, because they could have been more effective, man, in the market.
In the last one, yes, but like bringing in Ochoa was good. Bringing in
that was
Piontek
cool.
back then was worth a punt. You know what I mean? Kandreva as well was a good signing for them
sure,
as well.
man.
They bring in a few nice names as well. Yes. But my last game over here is Genoa 3, Cagliari 0. This was the Monday night game where Genoa just said, you know what, man, we want nothing to do with you guys. Do not associate us with these guys. Keep our name out your motherfucking mouths, all right? We've just come up along with these guys, but we're different, all right? We be different.
I'm different. Yeah, I'm different. You remember that was a oh my
2 Chains. What
God,
a team.
that was a
It so
banger,
good.
man. What the fuck?
Genoa lined up with Josep Martinez in goal, not the boot.
That's the one.
Yes, exactly.
Massive.
2 Chains.
Massive 2 Chains banger.
3-5-2, Vogliaccio, De Winter and Vasquez at the back with Sabelli and Martin on the flanks with Thorsby, Badel and Frendrup in the middle. Interestingly enough, Thorsby used to play for Sampdoria. Genoa's eternal rival.
Yes.
But they're quickly forgetting about that because he's been pretty good with them. Goodmanson and Retegui started up front. For Cagliari, Viola got injured last minute. So they couldn't bring him on as a sub. Or start him, obviously. But Scufé was in goal with Hatsidiakos, Vietieska and Obert at the back with Augello and Di Pardo on the flanks, Prati and Deola in the middle with Shomorodov and Oristano playing behind Gaetano.
A lot of movement in this team.
A lot of movement. And I think they seemed tired, and Genoa just rattled them from the get-go. In fact, they took the first half was literally Cagliari just holding on for dear life as Genoa just.
Mina, Nandez, both of them, Sulemana on the bench. Luvumbo suspended, Pavoletti injured, Mancosu injured. Where the frickety fuck is Dossena, bro?
Dossena was out, I believe, for this one. I'm not quite sure what was wrong with him, but he was nowhere near the team. So, yes, bro, it was, to be honest with you, man, Cagliari had 1 shot on target. Genoa had 5, but they managed to score 3 goals. They were hyper efficient. The first one was a Morton Thorsby header, assisted by Sabelli, and just a goal in that stadium is such a vibe, man. You see this guy, this bloody giant Thorsby heading the ball in, and you know the picture's already foggy because of the amount of flares there are in the stadium, and you just hear it erupting, and you see Thorsby running and punching the air. It's such a vibe, man. And then Frendrup scored after a lovely team maneuver. We saw the centre back Vasquez in the box playing it straight to him, and he just shot it first time. Frendrup, one of the most underrated players in the league, scoring.
Absolutely.
Retegui hit the woodwork. Then in the second half, Thorsby almost scored a header again. De Winter hit the upright on loan from Juventus.
It was a massacre. It was a massacre.
And then scored one after a give and go with Frendrup. To be honest, Cagliari's best shot came from Azzi, and his shot flew across the face of goal.
How human they can look, man, Cagliari. They can look so human.
Absolutely, they can. And yeah, the atmosphere was intense, and I think it rattled Cagliari a little bit. And we need the Derby della Lanterna back, bro.
Hey,
we
man,
need Sampdoria back in Serie A.
How are they doing? I know that they had a resurgence recently.
They're in a playoff spot.
Which is insane, because people were saying they're going to go down to 3.
Yes. They were doing terribly, but they...
I need the Lanterna. We should, bro, if it happens, we should go up and watch it. We should go watch the Lanterna.
Definitely. As it stands right now, in Serie B, Parma are in first, Como, Venezia... Okay, I'm just going to read you the order. Parma, Como, Venezia, Cremonese, Catanzaro, Palermo, Brescia, Sampdoria. But it's tight. Only 1 point separates Sampdoria, for example, from Südtirol. And now, Venezia Como have distanced themselves a little bit from Venezia.
It's probably going to be Parma and Como. Oh, it's interesting to see, like, who would I want out of the remaining teams? Out of Venezia, Cremonese, Catanzaro, Palermo, Brescia, Sampdoria. Because I would want... Catanzaro, sorry. Because I would want Sampdoria for the culture. I like Venezia a lot. I like them a lot. They're very stylish.
It's fun.
The whole
Away
thing.
games in Venice on the
Amazing. And
gondola.
we'll go watch them if they're there. Palermo, but give me the pink kit in Serie A again. Give me those vibes. Give me the Ilicic, Cavani, these fucking
Dybala, Pastore.
Oh man.
Yeah. This was a bad game for Cagliari. Yes, Gilardino once again showing that tactically he's promising, man. He's promising. And Genoa are cut above the other teams as they currently sit in. This is Serie B. I need Serie A.
We ought to have it open here, brother.
Yeah, do you?
Yes, I do.
Genoa, what, 10th?
Genoa are in 12th on 42 points, whereas Cagliari are in 14th on 32.
Absolutely. And this takes us to the last game.
Yes,
brother.
to the last game. This is one of our longer episodes, huh?
Is it what we at?
Now it's hard to say because the other one was like 1 hour 20 and we're now 1 hour and 8. So we're like 2 hours and a half.
Happy holiday, guys.
Yeah. Lecce 1, Monza 1 is the final game we're going to be covering. The previous encounter was also a 1-1 draw. Lecce had surged up the standings with back-to-back victories over Empoli and Sassuolo. The season was already over for Banda, Kaba and Dermaku, plus Ramadani was not fully fit either. Almqvist and Monza's Jean-Daniel Akpa-Akpro returned from suspension with Mashin and Dani Mota injured. So it was a 4-4-2 formation for Lecce with Falcone in goal and a backline of Jean-Dre, Baschirotto, Pongracic and Gallo. Dorgu on the left, Udon on the right and a midfield two of Raffia and Blin with Piccoli and Kristovic starting up front together. There's a 4-2-3-1 formation for Monza with Di Gregorio in goal, apparently Juve bound. But,
Di Gregorio?
But we are not the podcast that talks rumours while the season is going on.
Yeah,
We'll address, like, with Milan management, that's a good one to talk about, but we will not be here saying this player is linked to them. You can't keep up in this market.
It's impossible to do it consistently, but with the interesting ones we can mention, like for example, this Di Gregorio to Juve would be
cool. It would be cool.
And the thing is that you already have two goalkeepers who are pretty much established starters in Serie A.
Yeah, but what we'll do is end of summer episode. These are the transfers that have happened. Yes. This is all you need to know about these players, because I'll never forget when we were speaking about Dybala to Inter, we hit stop recording and suddenly Dybala's move to Roma is basically done, and it had not been mentioned before, bro. Yes, it had not been, and it totally fucked us. We didn't end up going live with the episode. So Di Gregorio,
had we not?
I don't think so. There were the fireworks as well.
No, so we must have gone live with it because the fireworks episode we had uploaded.
You think we had one firework episode, bro? There was one we didn't go live with. Yeah. We're like, the ball and the fireworks, and we didn't go live. Di Gregorio on goal, backline of Birindelli, Itzomari and Kyriakopoulos, Akpa-Akpro and Bondo in the double pivot with Carboni on the right, Zerbin on the left, Pessina playing closer to goal behind Colombo. Okay, my laptop's stuck. Nice. Now, it was a tight affair between these two sides for 90 minutes. Lecce, perhaps the aggressors in their quest for survival. Monza seemed to get a hang of things in the second half, but the game was set for late drama. 91st minute. The first goal scored by Lecce. And it was Kristovic with a thumping volley into the top corner from just outside the area, which is a close contender for goal of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Lecce thought they won it and secured safety. That goal, had they won this game, it would have secured them safety. And it actually would have been a repeat from last season, where Lecce secured survival after a 1-0 victory over Monza. So it was written in the stars. The scenes were immaculate. The commentator, Kendrick, shout out Kendrick, was what a way to win it. Well, obviously
it's a 94th minute goal,
91st. Well, 91st, 92nd. So what happens? Monza kick off. They knock the ball forward from the restart in an attempt to stop the party. Ball falls to D'Ambrosio on the left hand side of the area. He heads it into the flailing arm of Venuti. Fuck Me, man, they'd be so pissed off about that. Penalty awarded almost comically. Pessina goes up, cool, calm as you like, as the entire stadium, deafening boos trying to put him off, puts it into the back of the net. So Lecce would be very, very disappointed that they didn't manage to get it done over there, but they do have quite a significant lead over here in 13th place on 36 points. 7 points ahead of Udinese, so I do think they're relatively safe.
Oh, yes. One thing I forgot to mention is that Genoa are numerically safe. Mathematically safe as well. That's one thing. That
I don't think anyone ever considered them getting relegated, to be
and
honest.
Another thing I forgot to mention is that the Milan...
You're just forgetting everything.
I'm forgetting everything, bro. It's the
fucking
wine.
Disaster.
Milan did not greet the fans before heading into the tunnel.
Well, I hate that, man. I hate
massive
that. It's like
controversy.
basic.
This game, Lecce Monza, I thought it would end in a draw, to be honest. And I think Monza were like this. They thought the same thing. They're like, we'll let them have the draw, and then they scored at the end. They're like, wait a minute, and they go one back. No?
Literally. Man, but it's so unlucky because you have to look at the defender and say it was clumsy. No?
It was clumsy. With the flailing arm at the end. But the thing is, he was probably so full of adrenaline and so distracted from
all he did, bro, was shift his body to turn towards the ball. As he shifts, his arm obviously sticks out a little bit. It hits it. It's unlucky, bro. It's unlucky.
Clumsy, but unlucky.
It could happen to the best defenders. You know what I mean? It's really, really unfortunate. It's not totally his fault. I have seen Sergio Ramos playing at right back for Real with the long hair, that iconic Ramos with the white headband. Lizard Ramos before. I don't know if Ramos had surgery, but he must have. Every fucking time, every occasion he goes to block a cross, his arms are behind his back. Every single time he's defending, his arms are behind his back. I don't think he's ever given away a handball in the box, man.
That's the new age of defending. And that's how it's gonna be, man. Because everything as a defender, you're under the microscope constantly. Yeah. Where's your
and everything favors the attacking team. Absolutely. Why? The federation wants goals.
Yes,
that's the whole thing. Okay, I thought I had more talking points for this game, but I absolutely don't. It was literally just the end drama that there is to discuss. I think the situation here was very clear with Monza having nothing to play for, but obviously we say there's nothing to play for, but professionals want to win. They're always want to win.
They're hyper competitive.
So they had a quick reaction. A bit of luck favored them. I do think that Lecce were perhaps the more effective side throughout the game, but that's how quickly things change in football. And just like that, Monza obviously safe from relegation in 11th place on 44 points, whilst Lecce in 13th on 36 points. Not mathematically safe, but safe. You know what I mean?
Yes. I highly doubt they'll be going anywhere.
Yeah.
But thank you very much, guys, for joining us on this roller coaster of an episode.
I don't apologize that we got a bit drunk in the start because it's a day off, you know. Yeah. So we had a bit of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Cheers to all of you, and we'll see you guys next week. Enjoy Champions League and European football.
Have a good one, guys. Enjoy.
Yeah. Love you all.